Hello and welcome back. Long time no see, everybody. Mama Bear, twice in 2 days. This is twice in one day.
I know, right?
That's crazy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, Mama Bear. I hope everybody had a wonderful long rest there from the last time we saw you.
Sure.
I know I almost
Yep.
fell asleep sitting on my couch. It was what, 40 minutes tops?
mm, if
Yeah,
that
something like that.
felt like
Anyway,
10 minutes.
yeah, 5 for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, CLK.
Welcome back, everybody. Guys, I did once again pin the link to Mama Bear's Crime Time with Mama Bear channel over there in the chat. Please be sure to click that link, jump over there, hit the like button, and share it out as if you, for real. Please and thank you. I don't know what I was going to say. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, guys. Today we're looking into basically part 2 of the last show we had where we went into and looked into the University of Idaho murder situation, Brian Koberger situation with the hearings, the trial that's coming down the road, everything going on. We talked about it, looked at it, and I said there would be a part 2. I was just waiting for certain documents to come in, things like that, and to build up some more stuff. Well, guess what? There's a lot to build up. There's a whole lot of wild stuff going on now. Things that are definitely interesting to look at, talk about, and figure out what the hell's going on now. So here we are, back in Idaho again. Made a little road trip, turned the corner. Here we are, and we're going to talk about all this stuff. So go invite everybody you know, tell them to come on in. We're going to do it again. And again, I hate that I do this, or I don't want to sound a certain type of way when I do this, but I like to do this during this case specifically just to ensure something. Everybody within this case has their own feelings, their own theories, their own opinions, but everybody should respect each other's feelings on this, please. They may differ. That's okay. That's normal. That makes it interesting. The one main thing that I want to really put out there is I do not want to see nor hear any kind of victim shaming, any slamming of the families, anything like that, please. That's not what this is about. We're here to discuss documentation stuff, things like that, things that have come out. You can talk theoretical stuff if you want to, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to see any of the victims to be being shamed whatsoever, or any of the families being slammed or shamed either. That's not what this is. And if that's what you guys wanted to do, if anybody wants to do that, that's not here, guys. Sorry. Other than that, it is what it is. It's a conversation, open discussion on it. And that's what we're going to do, along with describing and talking about the things we've seen and heard recently. So there'll be no disrespectful comments towards each other. If one person has a feeling about one thing and somebody's is different, that's great. You can agree to disagree. And we're still all friends and family here. So remember that. The one thing I want to stress deeply is that my moderators will be respected no matter what. They do a very good job in here. They know what they're doing, and they're doing it for a reason. So if they do something, there's a reason behind. They're not just gonna do it for no reason. So please be respectful of that and treat them as if you treat me, or better than you treat me, I should say. Please do that. There'll be no disrespecting to Mama Bear, myself, or anybody for that matter, but mostly yourselves. Respect each other, guys. That's all I'm asking. Just like SRB just said, please be respectful to each other, mods, everybody in here, guys. Everybody. That's all I'm asking. Speaking of, who do we have in here? Tomboy's back in the house. Miss Kim's back with CLK Creations. Mr. AR Hayes, welcome back, my friend. Good to see you today. Demon Dog, great to have you here. SR BBBB, good to see you, dear. Miss Tandy, the Seahawks fans in the house. Good to have you here. Of course, Mama Bear up here with me. Butterfly Kisses, welcome back, dear. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. 12 Gauge Investigates, my friend. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us today. Miss Peggy Bradenbaugh, welcome back to you. Brandy B, DOG. The lovely Michelle Epples back in the house. Great to have you, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Demon Dog. Critical Minds, welcome back. Good to see you. One Maiden Nut. I was wondering if Eddie was coming in. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you. I think I'm getting everybody here. Hold on. Peggy Braden, yes, we saw Peggy. Aloha to you, Critical. Lisa Joe, there she is, Lisa Joe. Miss Miranda, welcome back to you. Great to see you here. And of course, our brother Mikey with the last 24. Come on in, come on down. Thank you guys for joining us. Please share this out and let everybody know what we're doing in here today, guys, if you will, please and thank you. And make sure to hit that like button if you could, please. And thank you for that too. Very much appreciated. Give it a minute here for make sure everybody gets in here. Come on in. Yeah, so there's definitely some things to look at. Definitely some new stuff to talk about. There's some text messages to go through. Something with the 911 call and some other documentation and some things that have been put out. We're going to figure out what's going on, why. Dean A., welcome. Good to see you. Wonderful to have you here, my friend. Hope you're having a great day. Yes. Tandy can talk crap to Tomboy. That's different. She said I own her, so I will allow for that one. And all the other mods will too. Yes, it'll be easy. Peaky, welcome back to you. This is a really great community. Everybody's very, very respectful. Occasionally, from time to time, somebody will pop in here and decide they want to make an argument, and that's fine. It's dealt with, and that's that. Tomboy said, "Wait, what? That's what your Miss Candy said." Stevie Irwin, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, right. It seems to be true at this point. Stevie just said 4chan, Reddit, Twitter, and Facebook seem to be more accurate than the official PCA at this point. Big surprise, right? That's the way it's reading out at this point. I don't know. It's crazy. Hope you're doing good, Stevie. It's been a while. I'm gonna need you to come with me. And that's true too, AR. There is nothing on YouTube easy. Makes our lives quite hard at times. But that's okay. I'm quite surprised I didn't see Willie pop in here yet. I hope you're having a good New Year, Stevie. I don't know if I saw you before or afterwards, but I hope you had a good Christmas and you're having a good New Year. Ms. Kim said this case is so confusing. I'm not understanding the 911 calls. Nobody understands anything with this one, Ms. Kim. I promise you. Nobody has for a long time, truly. I don't know. I do believe these aren't full transcripts, so it still leaves us guessing. And I think that's probably part of the way it's supposed to be, SRB, sadly. Uh-oh. Tomboy said, Seahawks fans got jokes. And they're in the same household, so this should be interesting. If my computer screen blows up, I'll know why. Just stay away from... She does have sewing machines and needles and all that, Candy, so you better be nice. Eddie said to SRB, I agree, they're nonsensical. A lot of stuff in here is. I don't get it either, but hey. Demon Dog, good to see you, my friend. 30 amazing peeps in the house, guys. Please hit the like button. We got 23 likes so far. Let's see if we can make it match. Dean says, how did the LE officer know the person was 24 in was mentioned in the 911 call? It's a good question. Oh, we'll be talking about a lot of these things, so. She's harmless. Oh, boy. Okay. There's going to be a little mini war going on here soon. That's okay. I love them both, so that's all that matters. Critical says they'll give us the full transcripts, but won't have a case. If they give us the full transcripts, they won't have a case. Yeah, that's a good point too. I imagine. I do have those texts. I have transcripts to look at too, and we're going to go through it all and see if we can make sense of it. That's the big point within today, I believe. Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat. Mama Bear, you still here? That's a good point too, there, Tomboy. Are you here, Mama Bear? Or no, she might be busy doing something. I'm sure. I know I was ready to nap, but this is something that needs to be talked about. Yes, Ghost probably took her for a walk. That's true too. Welcome back, Karen E. Good to see you. Miss Kaylee's in the house. Hello, dear. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're doing well. All right, let's see here. One moment. I know that Court TV put something out too that I had. Trying to decide which way I want to do this for you guys first and foremost, and then go from there. One moment. There was, I believe, also. I didn't get. Lord have mercy, Almighty. Hold on one second, folks. Also, I believe there was also a update press conference possibly in the Gene Hackman situation, which we can get into towards the end of this. This is the more in-depth thing that we're going to look at. And okay, hold on. Yeah, I think the dog or Ghost may have taken her for a walk. Yes, this is new. Let's see. We'll probably start with this and go into the rest of this. EA is Emily, Hunter's girlfriend. Gotcha. Captain Jenks is in the house. What's up, buddy? DPD, Fraud Department, Homie Director. You're silly. You are silly, Tomboy. Welcome, everybody. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, share it out if you may. Let everybody know what we're doing. We always have good conversations with this stuff in here. All right. Okay, I guess I'm gonna jump in with this first. Review this. Of course, I put up anything that Vinny talks about with any of the stuff we cover. So, and then we're going to take what we have to look at along with this and go and have our conversation about it, because this has some interesting pieces in it too. And Cap, welcome back. Good to see you, brother. All of you guys, I appreciate you all being here. And Mama Bear will jump in when she jumps back up here. Cockney's in the house. Welcome back. Cockney's been a member for 5 months. Happy day anniversary to you. We appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great day and joining in our conversation. All right, so we're going to look into this here, talk about this real quick and review it, and then we'll look at the documents and the text messages and all the other stuff that we have here, transcripts, I should say. Go through that and talk about all that as well. So this will work in helping us with it. Yes, you are so welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation, the horrific, unprovoked, cold-blooded murders of 4 innocent students at the University of Idaho. It's the biggest true crime case in America and the biggest trial on our docket at Court TV. Here's the story. On November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, were brutally stabbed to death in their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. The shocking crime left the college town in fear as authorities searched for the killer. After weeks of investigation, police arrested the suspect, a 28-year-old criminology PhD student at Washington State University. This suspect was linked to the crime through DNA evidence found on a knife sheath at the scene, cell phone records, and surveillance footage of his white Hyundai Elantra near the victim's home. Prosecutors believe the suspect planned the attack, although the motive remains unclear. He's been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary and maintains his innocence. Both sides now are preparing for the trial, and more information is being made public about the evidence and circumstances surrounding this tragedy. Now, one thing that you know about this case through the years, as we've been covering it and other people have been covering it as well, so a lot of the information coming out is very limited about the evidence in the case. We got some early on with the arrest warrant, but since then, we've gotten little pieces from court hearings, and then when either of the parties file motions, sometimes there's information in there that's new information. Well, right now, we've got some of that new information, and this comes from a defense filing, right? So it's the suspect's attorneys who are filing this and making this information now public because they're looking for some relief. It's a motion to eliminate. They're trying to limit some of the evidence coming in. In grand jury testimony, Jade Miller testified as to the results of testing done on item Q13.1, a swab of the left fingernail clippings from Madison Mogan, one of the victims in this case. The data consisted of a 3-person mixture in the fingernails of Maddie. 3-person mixture. So now we've got DNA from different sources, which brings us to the first question in our investigation. And it's all about this DNA. What does this DNA prove? What does it show? What does it demonstrate? Got to get to the bottom of this. Joining me, former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough is with us, and laboratory director for Pure Gold Forensics. She has more than 20 years of experience in DNA analysis, forensic DNA expert. Joining us from a lab where she works, Susanna Ryan. Great to have you both here. Susanna, I want to begin with you. 3-person mixture. What does that mean? What are the challenges? What are the limitations? What can you get when you have a sample that is a 3-person mixture?
A lot of that's going to depend upon the quality of the mixture. So it sounds like, we have Madison's DNA, which is not surprising, and then at least 2 other contributors. Now, looking at this motion, the fact that multiple individuals were listed as sort of inconclusive tells me there's probably not a whole lot of data available for comparison. So it's probably a low-level mixture. Now, that could mean that the DNA arrived just through casual contact. As a person goes about their day, they can pick up DNA under their fingernails or on their fingernails, or it could mean something more.
I want to go to more information that we have from this motion, which I think will explain a little bit here. The data from that sample was, and then they redact the word, as to the suspect, the accused killer. Miller testified that the redacted word there, we think this is the redacted word, inconclusive, right? So they say in the next sentence that Miller testified that inconclusive means that an analyst is blank, again, redacted. I'm taking from that the redacted word may very well be inconclusive. Miller went on to explain that the likelihood ratio for the suspect, and then that's redacted. The suspect's inconclusive LR likelihood ratio is similar to almost every other person for whom an LR was generated. And focusing on his inconclusive likelihood ratio would mislead the jury, in that it applies that LR means that the suspect's DNA might be present in the sample. More importantly, the suspect has disclosed that through further independent lab testing, he is eliminated as a contributor to item 13.1. Okay, Suzanne, a couple more questions to you, then I want to get to Chris. So the LR, the likelihood ratio, what is that? What's the significance of that?
That is the way that we do statistics currently. And it is basically a comparison of two mutually exclusive hypotheses. So one hypothesis would be what we call the prosecutor's hypothesis, which typically is that the person's included in the mixture. And that is compared to the defense hypothesis, which typically is that person is not in the mixture. And the likelihood ratio tells you which of those hypotheses is more likely. So in this case, when we have what they're calling an inconclusive range, they're saying, I can't tell you whether this person is included or excluded. However, I think one of the issues that the defense has with this is that there are recommendations, sort of the scientific working group on DNA analysis methods, they've come up with a number of recommendations. And basically they say no matter what the likelihood ratio is, whether it's a small number in support or a small number supporting exclusion, you should still report that number. Instead, this laboratory apparently has a pretty wide range of inconclusive.
So make this make sense to me. Now they're saying that the suspect, the accused, has disclosed that through further independent lab testing, he is eliminated as a contributor. How could a different test now have seemingly a different result that actually eliminates his as a contributor? Is this just an interpretation of results, or is there a different testing that could have been done? How could that be?
I think that probably the independent lab retested the sample, and perhaps they were able to get a little bit more DNA from the sample. Perhaps their guidelines allow for them to eliminate a person at a certain less than 1 likelihood ratio versus this lab. So this independent lab may have done some additional testing, concentrated the sample, done something to be able to get a little bit better of a result where they can say he's excluded, instead of the Idaho laboratory, which they're saying inconclusive.
Welcome, Miss Bonnie Bailey. Wonderful to see you. Great to have you here today. Hope you're feeling good. Thank you for joining us for this one. Interesting show for sure. You're just coming at the beginning, so don't feel you didn't miss much of anything. And of course, good golly, Miss Molly's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Molly. Thank you for being here today. Miss Cassie here. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys so very much for joining us. I'm sorry, Bonnie. I hope you feel better by this evening. I know that treatment stuff is not easy. We'll be keeping in our thoughts and prayers for sure. Welcome, Greg McNeely. Thank you for joining us today as well, my friend. Guys, make sure to share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing. Please hit the like button when you come through that door so we can get this in an algorithm. Appreciate you so very much, guys. And don't forget, you guys, to click in the chat. If you look at the top of the chat, Mama Bear's link is up there in the top pin. Please click her link and jump on over just for a minute. Make sure to hit the like button over there. Share it out. Hit the subscribe if you haven't. And hit that notification bell, because we're here together, streaming this together to get today. Please stop by and visit her as well, guys. Thank you.
But reading the motion, it probably should properly be said as support for exclusion. They probably were in a less than 1 likelihood ratio level, which is actually support for exclusion.
Chris McDonough, let me ask you, so what does this DNA prove?
Vinny, obviously DNA evidence would put somebody at a crime scene. However, when there is an analysis like this that comes back, inconclusive, it means the results aren't necessarily clear cut. So from an investigative side, that could be from a couple of reasons. I mean, like a sample was too small, maybe it was,
Welcome, CZ. Anybody else that may be out there in the hallway just watching, not in chat, welcome to you as well. We appreciate you. CJ, welcome back to you as well. Miss Cassie, of course, and I think I got everybody else. Anybody that I don't. Miss Leslie and Billy, there she is. Good to see you guys. Thank you guys all for joining for this one. It's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure. Show, as Mr. Chris would say. Let's move it on.
Degraded, maybe it was mixed up with other DNA, like in this case, so you couldn't get a solid match. So basically, it's a shrug of the shoulders from the lab, and so as an investigator, you have to take that and say,
I think we all did, Cass, but we just listen to what he says because he's out of respect for Vinny, because he's there with Vinny. It is what it is. Teresa S., welcome back, dear. Good to see you today. I appreciate you all. Mark and Betty, cheers, my friend. Wonderful to have you all here today. I appreciate you guys so very much. I know, Tomboy. I know. It's okay. Show.
okay, well, then we have to put that over here in the exclusionary column until we get some additional definitive evidence. And that's what they did by revealing it to the defense.
So Susanna, the next question is, okay, if let's say he's excluded, or however we want to term it, right? It's it's interesting to hear it explained, because a jury's going to have to understand this. Is there a way to take those the two samples that aren't her, and to determine any information about the source of it, whether it's gender, race, or identity?
You may be able to tell gender. So there are a couple of different markers that we look at that are indicative of males. So they're specific to the male. So we know, obviously we have Maddie, a female. If any of those other markers that are specific to a male pop up, then they can say there's at least one male present. But that would be about it. We don't use the DNA.
Thank you, and welcome back, Stephen. Good to have you back, buddy. Don't worry about sitting in your hands, Cassie. Say what you got to say. Most people don't care for McDonald's anyway. It's okay. I swear it's okay. It's okay.
That we do in the forensic lab to do any sort of, ethnicity or racial background or, hair or eye color, any of that, that's all completely separate. So that would be the farthest we could go, is possibly saying that there's a male present.
And is there any other way to put it in a pool of potential people? Like, if you've got a sample like this, would you get enough information where you could run that information through CODIS?
I've had a lot of practice, Eddie. I know. I do it all the time. They've heard me do it 100 times. It's just been good fun. I just I don't care for he seems biased in a lot of ways for things, and I don't like certain things he did in Summerwell's case. I was just really unhappy with him. So I try to be as polite as possible. That's my way of getting at him, by just saying things like that. That's all. Anyway, it's just, we got to smile a little bit throughout these two, you guys, no big deal. Onward. Sorry to interrupt again. I wonder if they got DNA off the other roommates. It's a good question, Kim. It is definitely a good question. Yeah, that's agreed upon too, up here. So onward we go. Hello, Miss Stormy. Good to see you. Stop it. I'm not doing anything, Cassie. I'm just saying.
And you may not get like one hit, but you might get thousands of hits. Does it work like that, or it doesn't really work like that?
So the samples that are eligible for upload to CODIS they cannot be too much of a mixture because we don't want to have thousands of possible hits to go through. And again, kind of reading between the lines here, it sounds to me that the data is really low level and probably not eligible for CODIS. It's good for comparison to other potential persons of interest, but not for entry into CODIS.
All right, Susanna Ryan, I'm so glad that you're able to come on this program and help us explain this and help us understand this. Chris McDonough is going to stick around. Thanks so much, Susanna. Coming up next, so what does this DNA mean for the trial?
I think you can have DNA on an object at a scene when you know about all of these other things and you don't find probable cause, because there are more questions than there are answers, and all of a sudden this one thing doesn't look as big.
Grieving widow or mastermind behind a murder.
Monica Cimentelli is accused of plotting to kill her husband.
Famed celebrity hairstylist Fabio Cimentelli.
Prosecutors say she and her lover killed Fabio to collect a big life insurance.
Say other people that creates concern or issues about that need to be investigated further. But I'm not sure that that diminishes the probable causes. Mr. Koberger, if his DNA is found on a knife she found on or near the victim, who was stabbed with said alleged knife that would have been in said alleged sheath.
I think the most prominent question is, how did that sheath get there? And I think when you ask that question, I think you can have DNA on an object at a scene when you know about all of these other things and you don't find probable cause, because there are more questions than there are answers. And all of a sudden this one thing doesn't look as big. It doesn't look as everything pointing to it when you have the context around it. The magistrate didn't have to have every detail of the case, but knowing how many attempts to find a DNA connection there were, and it didn't exist, in Brian's car, in Brian's apartment, that there's no other DNA in there.
We know DNA is a huge part of this case. It's the foundation of the prosecution case, the DNA that's found on the knife.
That's quite an interesting statement there, SRB. Thank you for pointing that out. She said, what gets me is the texts were supposedly pulled off of the hard drive of the phone. Now, what does that say? Were they originally deleted? If they were, why? Considering everything that went on that night, why would those be deleted if they were? I don't delete any messages in my phone unless I'm trying to clean my phone out, or if there's something I just don't want to ever be seen by some, for whatever, which is usually never. I don't ever do that, really. But truly, okay, like why would you do that in that situation that evening? What would make you think to do something like that if that happened? That's very strange to me, and I agree. Quite strange. Just saying. But Cassie does have another point. I will have to say that. She said that's just how they pull it. They look at the entire hard drive of the phone, which makes sense still, too. It can be looked at, like, there's so many things on this thing that could be looked at either way, guys, truly. Yeah, I do remember that, Michelle. We watched a lot of that stuff, too. It does make sense. Then there's the documents, though, too. So remember that stuff. There's a lot of things we look at that we're questioning. You can look at it in 15 different ways and still ask questions about it. So just remember that.
Knife sheath, but it's not the only DNA. We've talked about this in the past. There's
that was the whole other question we talked about probably 2 years ago. That's a great point, too, Mama Bear. If it was premeditated, why would you even take the sheath with you? And if you're going to do that, why would you not have it attached to your belt so that you don't have to carry it? And then the knife can be used and put right back into it. That way you don't have to carry it around. Whatever you're going to do, that's just commonsensical type stuff. And I've never understood that. So Mama Bear has a very good point with that. You know what I mean? I don't know, guys. There's questions about the sheath that everybody has had that are still being questioned at this point.
DNA on a railing inside the home of an unknown male. There's DNA of an unknown male on a glove that was found on the property outside. And now we're talking about Maddie's fingernail clippings. And you've got a mixture of the DNA from 3 sources, one of which is likely Maddie, but then you've got 2 other sources of DNA in all of this. So the defense filed these motions to limit what the prosecution can say, but when you read it, you kind of take something else away from it. The suspect's inconclusive likelihood ratio is similar to almost every other person for whom a likely ratio was generated, and focusing on his inconclusive LR would mislead the jury. That implies that the LR means that the suspect's DNA might be present in the sample. When the suspect sought to overturn the grand jury indictment, he argued that Miller's testimony was inadmissible and misleading. The state argued that the testimony, this is interesting, the testimony was presented to the grand jury as exculpatory and an effort to elicit favorable evidence for the suspect. The independent lab testing conducted by the defense related to this item is indeed exculpatory. The suspect is excluded, and the state should be precluded from misleading the jury in any way. So it's semantics about how they describe this DNA, but it seems clear that the defense has their lab looking at it and clearly excluding the suspect. So the DNA is from 2 other unknown sources. Brings us to the next question in our investigation. What does this DNA mean for the trial? The trial's coming up this year. Joining me, criminal defense attorney, the man behind the glasses, Josh Schiffer, is with us. Josh, every case, every trial is a battle, it's a fight. Things that seem small at one moment become very large inside the courtroom. What are your thoughts about the fingernails of one of the victims, Maddie? 2 unknown sources of DNA.
Well, I think it's pretty clear. This is confusing. You're confused, I'm confused. I think that it's pretty clear that there's confusion in front of the court about how these test results are admissible or they're supposed to be interpreted. And we haven't even heard from the defense's experts, who I'm willing to bet have impeccable credentials and are going to come in and talk about other problems with these already inconclusive results. And the issue at trial becomes, well, are we going to let the jury know this exists, or does this just remain silent? Because the jury theoretically doesn't know anything. And that jury walks in not considering, unless they're using their outside knowledge from before the trial and just their regular life, that they might test under the fingernails for DNA. Otherwise, this might not even get mentioned. It might just be wrapped up in the rest of the state's case. So the defense is really pushing hard, and for the right reasons, to limit and exclude this as much as possible, because the mere existence of these testing results tends to confuse the jury. And I think that's very clear. Doesn't mean the judge is going to exclude it, though, because this is powerful physical evidence backed up by science.
Also joining us, former federal prosecutor, president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Rahmani. Nima, should prosecutors presented this to the grand jury because they have an obligation to present potentially exculpatory evidence? That's one place in one scenario. In front of a jury, is the defense going to jump on this? Should the prosecution be concerned that there's unknown DNA in the fingernails of one of the victims, which, according to the defense, excludes the defendant? And I think prosecutors might likely agree with that because they're the ones conceding that it's potentially exculpatory.
Many prosecutors shouldn't be concerned because there's so much other evidence in the case, but absolutely, you have to front this potentially bad evidence in the case. Look, it's a party house. There's going to be people coming and going. There's no evidence necessarily that the victim scratched or clawed the murderer, whether it's Brian Kohberger or whoever is alleged to be the killer. So if you're the state, you want to get out ahead of all this other type of DNA, whether it's on the railing, whether it's blood, and you want to say, listen, Kohberger's DNA is on the knife sheath that we believe is the murder weapon. Unless it was transferred or planted, he was there. So the defense can make, kick and scream and talk about all the other DNA that was found. But ultimately, with all the other evidence in the case, this is just one piece that's going to put Brian Kohberger away for life, or maybe even put him to death.
Josh Schiffer, we've watched and covered so many cases here on Court TV through the years, and when the defendant's DNA is in the fingernails of the victim, prosecutors jump up and down. Do you think the defense is going to jump up and down as Nima described here? I think they will, because again, they have some tough facts to overcome in this case, but they've got to latch on to something.
Yeah, if this evidence was standing by itself, then it would certainly be inappropriate because of its lack of consistency and the confirmation. It would be subject to the battle of the experts. And I don't think it would be admissible because how much we know juries are swayed by this kind of evidence. But taken with all of the other totality of the circumstances, this is just one piece of evidence that lends credence that he is one of the people that could have been there according to this DNA testing. That's in addition to the sheath. That's in addition to this being a party house. So the DNA is not the, terrible word, so smoking gun for the prosecution in this case. It's just one of the bricks they need. So the defense is going to fight this specific piece of evidence. Whether it's exculpatory, sure. I'll give it to the state that they used it in a way that is kind of sneaky in order to get it admitted in front of the grand jury. But we all know exactly what they're doing. They're putting Brian Kohberger on the scene under her fingernails. That is a tone of habitat that is going to strike every juror.
All right, you guys are going to stick around. Got more questions for you, a lot more to cover. Up next, how reliable is Dylan Mortenson's memory, one of the surviving roommates?
That's a great question.
I'm Vinny Politan.
What'd you say there? Or could have pulled the sheets off. We tested that, Cam. If that's what, if you're meaning that he had it on and they yanked it off, nobody can see how that could have happened. Mainly because the leather is very thick, especially if it was new, which it seemed to be newer. Okay, I can't think of what that's called that they pushed that together with. Unless it was bad, that you would really, really have to have a kind of super strength to pull that off of a belt loop. And beforehand, think about this: before you're ever going to tear that sheath itself, you're going to either rip the belt or the belt loops to pull that off, and it's still going to be connected to the belt. That's almost near impossible to tear that thing, Kim, because it's so strong. Let me show you something. What did you do with my knife?
Upstairs in your room where I left it.
It's not supposed to be there, so
I showed it to my.
one moment. I'm gonna grab mine and show you what I mean by the how durable these things are made. Like, you could probably connect a rope to this thing and put it on the bumper of a car and put the other piece in a vise and pull, and it still probably wouldn't rip. It might stress it, but it ain't gonna rip it. These things are built really strong, so there's no way I can imagine human strength could pull that off and rip the sheath unless it was really old or something. You know what I mean? That would make some sense. Or the rivet was like wore out and it was tore. So that's why I can never believe, unless there's ripped belt loops or something like that. But still, at the same time, the way that's set up, mine's a little different, but I'm going to show you what I mean. This one here, it's kind of the same thing, okay? But the way this is riveted in with rivets like that, you really can't tear. No matter what you do, you got to be super strong to get that to rip. And I can't imagine anybody in that house had that kind of a strength to do that, even if it was more than one person doing it. You know what I mean? So I never did think that was a possibility as far as tearing it off the belt, ripping it off, but just saying. And at the same time, if he was, we don't even know what he was wearing for a fact, if he was wearing a belt with belt loops or any of that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. I've had issues with that too. Just saying, this is why we talk about these things, is to make them make sense. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. I agree with that too. Like, if you're going to do something like this, you would attach it, but it doesn't seem like that's what was done. And I still question that whole sheath thing, guys. I don't understand it. I don't understand them. If you're as smart as you spoke, if this is him and he's that smart, 1, why would you take it? 2, why would you leave it? 3, why did you not clean it? All that. I mean, there's just so many questions with it, guys, that I just don't understand. So there's that too. I'm sorry to interrupt again.
And we continue our investigation of the brutal murders of 4 young adults who were killed in cold blood in the middle of the night at the University of Idaho. Here's the story. A 28-year-old criminology PhD student at Washington State University was arrested on December 30th, 2022 in connection with the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. Investigators linked the suspect to the crime using DNA evidence found on a knife sheath at the scene. Surveillance footage was also found of.
We're about halfway through it, Eddie. I'm going to kick it up a little faster, and then we're going to start talking about some other stuff. Because I want to look at these text messages and some other things. And
he's like, come on, let's go. Let's get the show on the road.
I don't blame him. I just wanted everybody else to see these other things they're talking about as well, so we can kind of fit that all together. But I agree with him. I do, wholeheartedly.
Of his white Hyundai Elantra near the victim's home, and there is cell phone data placing him in the area. Authorities believe he may have stalked the victims prior to the attack. The accused killer has been charged with 4.
That's all been proven to be not true, by the way, but okay. We'll go with that.
Counts of first-degree murder and burglary. He maintains his innocence and has pleaded not guilty. The case has drawn national attention, and now with both sides preparing for this upcoming trial, new details about the facts surrounding these brutal crimes are now being made public. A lot of the information that we have regarding this investigation has come out through some of the court hearings and some of the documentation, court filings, including the probable cause affidavit, which came out early in this case after the arrest of the suspect. And one of the big revelations from that was that there appears to be a witness, one of the roommates from inside the house, who actually saw the killer that night. Didn't realize that the person she saw was the killer because she didn't realize that there was a quadruple murder at that moment. But this was really like eye-opening, that, oh my goodness, someone survived in that house and someone saw the killer as he was leaving. So I want to show you part of that probable cause affidavit. And they refer to the witness as DM, which is Dylan Mortensen, the roommate, stated she opened her door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with.
No, that's truly not overthinking, Kim. My theory on that was that, sadly, I think there was a specified target. I think that was Maddie Mogan. This is just my theory, okay? And I think that everything else that happened was sadly collateral damage due to that specific, because everybody was there. That's truly what I think. I could be completely wrong. And if I am, I'll 100% take that. I am. I think that Maddie, was the target, and everything else that happened very, very sadly was collateral damage to that. So I don't know. And hopefully that's something that we will find out. It's horrible either way, no matter how it was or what the reasoning. SRB said, I feel like he ran into Xana, maybe possibly as she was coming back from picking up the DoorDash. You know what I mean? And or Ethan or both. There's Willie. I knew you'd show up in here, bud. Welcome, bud. Good to see you, brother. Once we get through this and we drop some of these things, I'm probably going to open the panel up and we're going to have our discussions about this because there's a lot to talk about right now. But yeah, that's what I think it is. I think he very well could have be coming down from upstairs. Whoever was coming down from upstairs, I'll just put it that way. And very possibly ran into Xana or Ethan coming back from picking up DoorDash and or both of them. Who knows? You know, one at a different time or whatever. But that's another one of those things that I've thought. So, yes, Cassie, we're looking at the documents that we've had put in here, the text messages, all this other stuff that we've just gotten, the transcripts, I should say. So, yes. Yes, sir. You did pop in here right on time, brother.
Bushy eyebrows. And as we all looked at that description, we're all thinking it's consistent with, it's not a terribly detailed description, but it's very consistent with the suspect in this case. The build is athletic, but he's not muscular. He's relatively tall, and he's got those bushy eyebrows. Now, the defense has filed motions trying to limit some of this information, including testimony from Dylan. In this case, the description provided by DM, Dylan Mortensen, is unreliable and should be excluded. Although she has never identified the suspect, testimony by DM from the witness stand describing bushy eyebrows while the suspect sits as the accused at trial will be as damning as her pointing to him and saying, he is the man that did this. They are concerned that she's going to describe bushy eyebrows. Jury's going to look over, see the defendant and his bushy eyebrows. So it brings us to an important question in this investigation. How reliable is Dylan Mortensen's memory from the early morning hours of that overnight inside the home? How reliable? Joining me, former homicide detective, host of the Interview Room with Chris McDonough. It is Chris McDonough, and Idaho defense attorney who represented Chad Daybell. John Pryor is with us as well. Let me ask you, John, first. This witness's testimony about seeing someone with bushy eyebrows, and we've seen what he looks like. How much of an impact do you think that would have in a case like this?
Well, I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. If you go through the pleadings, you'll see that the young lady had a habit of drawing eyebrows as part of her artwork. That's what she focused on. Obviously, the defense is going to have the opportunity to say she was intoxicated, she was fuzzy, she acknowledged all of that. But the reality is, if that's her habit of observing people's eyebrows, and she sees an athletic man coming in who's over 5'10" with bushy eyebrows, it's going to have an impact.
And what he's referring to as, so that everybody doesn't go, huh? When they took pictures of her room, they found she had like a corkboard on her wall. They found pictures of people of just like this. Photographs that look like this of just eyes and eyebrows, that's a little strange. I'll be honest. That doesn't make her a murderer, but that does go, okay, what are you doing? There was just things like that pinned up to the corkboard, pictures of just things like this. Now, maybe she has a transfixation with eyes for makeup reasons or something. I don't know, guys. I'm just reaching for things, but it's definitely a strange thing to have that on your wall in your bedroom. Maybe it's a new thing, a new fad. I don't know. And I don't think I ever will, but it's definitely something to look at and kind of cock your head a little bit and go, okay. You know what I mean? So there is that. Guys, by the way, Mama Bear's link is pinned at the top of the chat. If everybody that's just now coming in would please click on that link, jump on over, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell on Mama Bear's channel because we're dual streaming this. That would be grateful. I would be grateful for that. So would she. And I would really, really appreciate you guys. It only takes just a matter of seconds to do it, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper into this, Chris, because there's a lot more in these papers that were filed by the defense. Okay, let's go to November 13th of 2022. Dylan is interviewed by law enforcement at the scene. She describes the intruder's height, build, and clothing, but says nothing about the eyebrows. Law enforcement took pictures of Dylan's room. On the walls in her room were many pictures, as John said, of eyes with prominent eyebrows. She had drawn many of them herself. Some of the eyebrows in the pictures are heavy, voluminous, puffy, or perhaps subjectively bushy. Detectives found artwork of human figures with an emphasis upon the eyes and eyebrows pinned to corkboards. Chris, what do you take away from this when you're trying to analyze the accuracy of her memory? One, in this interview in the 13th, there's no mention of the eyebrows, but then when you go into her room, there's apparently pictures and drawings of eyes and eyebrows everywhere.
You know, Vinny, that's not uncommon with eyewitness testimony in terms of, I used to explain to witnesses of, traumatic events such as this is just think of walking into a kitchen and seeing a very large puzzle of the Statue of Liberty, for an example. What you just experienced was somebody walking in and just flipping that table over. And now what I would like you to do in a narrative form is try to assemble those pieces, one piece at a time. And so it's imperative upon investigators, and in this situation, this is not uncommon because, it's so subjective and at times it's going to be incomplete. You'll notice in the filing, this motion here, where we learned that she was intoxicated, she had a variety of type of feelings going on, and that she also remembered going down to the other roommate's room on the first floor, and she fell asleep for 8 hours, and that filled that piece of the puzzle in for the 911 call. And I don't think the investigators were expecting that during that interview. So, that's the point here about subjectiveness in relationship to an eyewitness. You've got to take your time, and they will fill in the gaps if they believe they actually saw it.
Now, talking about gaps being filled in. Another interview on November 17th of 2022, 4 days later. Dylan tells detectives she was really asleep and probably very drunk when she woke up around 4 a.m. She expressed uncertainty about what she heard and saw and did not know if it was real or a dream. Dylan described seeing the intruder's bushy eyebrows, but could not describe the shape or color of the eyebrows. John, what are your thoughts here about the reliability of her memory as she starts to describe some of these other things 4 days later?
Well, that's going to be helpful to the defense. They're going to attack if she gets on the stand. And as far as the defense being able to have this excluded, I don't think the judge is going to allow it. But in terms of the defense being able to attack her memory, it's significant. But I go back to what your other witness talked about, which is she has a focus, and that focus are on the bushy eyebrows. And the fact the defense is bringing attention to just not allowing her to talk about bushy eyebrows shows you how important that piece of evidence is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Chris, we're now moving forward to December 1st of 2022. Dylan tells detectives she did not see the intruder's eyes, but she saw one eyebrow or two, but it was just like this bushy eyebrow. I could just see like an eyebrow, this bushy eyebrow. She did not know what parts of her recollections were dreams and what parts were real. When she woke up that morning, she did not fully understand what was a dream or not. In this interview, she indicated that she thought that the person she saw was a fireman. How concerned are you, Chris McDonough, about the way she's describing her memory?
Vinny, I think that John's accurate, and I agree with him that in this situation, obviously, there's a lot of stress on board. And so for her memory to be bouncing around there, you really have to do what we would call a cognitive interview with her, and really kind of narrow the scope. One of the things that I want to just mention here, I am a little concerned that there were three separate interviews from three separate detectives. Typically, in a high-profile situation like this, once you connect with a particular witness and there's such a value, you want to keep the same investigator interviewing them so that they pick up maybe these inconsistencies. But the defense may pick up on that. But I still think her power is going to be one male in that house and bushy eyebrows. That will be the power.
Now, on December 30th, this is after the arrest of the suspect. Detectives asked if the suspect was the person she saw in the house. She said she didn't know. All that she remembered is some bushy eyebrow and all black and some sort of a mask. John, what does your gut tell you about what happened, what she saw? Because she's saying fireman at one point. She's saying I'm drunk. She's saying I'm sleepy. She went to sleep afterwards. How trustworthy and how persuasive will her testimony be? And how much do you think it can be relied upon here?
Well, I think, quite frankly, it's going to be pretty reliable. You have a young lady who has an emphasis, or at least has an attraction to eyebrows. She sees a guy who has that athletic build. She doesn't remember a lot of anything else because she was intoxicated. Well, that happens with witnesses sometimes. She's sleepy. She was fuzzy. But she was clear enough that she saw someone with an athletic build. He was wearing dark, and he had bushy eyebrows. The defense, if this wasn't significant, the defense wouldn't be going through this motion in limine to exclude this. They understand and they put in their own pleadings that this is going to be significant, and it's going to be one of the significant pieces that, in all likelihood, is going to convict Mr. Kohlberger.
Unbelievable. Big thank you, Chris McDonough and John Pryor. Great to have you on the program. Appreciate it. All right, still to come. How important will Dylan's testimony be at the trial?
There's the third interview, and there's references to not remembering, being drunk, a statement, I don't know any of it. Like half this stuff. I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real.
Race was in the undercurrent of this case from the beginning.
They saw this as a chance to really put the system on trial.
This stuff about playing a race card is preposterous.
The race factor was huge. This is right after Rodney King.
The racial division was so great that people saw the facts differently.
Trial and Error. Why did O.J. win? A Court TV original series. New episode Sunday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
Remember, the issue was whether or not one of the victims ran downstairs. And she didn't say it once. She said it 4 times in a row in the very first interview. And that just didn't happen. It just couldn't happen. And that was not told. In fact, that statement was brushed over and withheld from the magistrate. About the memory issues in the second interview the same day, there are 2 references to not remembering. A couple of days later, there's the third interview, and there's references to not remembering, being drunk, a statement, I don't know any of it. Like half this stuff. I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. That's at page 399. At page 406, I don't know if this was real or in my mind was just like playing with me. But from what I think I heard, someone was crying in the bathroom.
For a moment, think about what this poor young woman went through, right? She survived, but 4 of her friends were slaughtered inside her home. And she believes, and I believe, that she saw the killer. Wow. And now, you know, you're young, you should be living the best days of your lives, and this has to just be like hanging over her, part of her life, day in and day out. It's not fair. Now, let's take a listen to the prosecutor with their position about Dylan's memory and her testimony and what she saw.
The simple answer is investigators knew what she saw was real, and we know it wasn't a dream. Because they found the evidence discovered the next morning. That general description, which is what was provided in the PC affidavit, was consistent throughout all of her interviews. She described seeing someone wearing all black, a mask with only a portion of their face showing and visible. This person was male, white. She heard a voice that was not someone that she recognized. The person was a slim, skinny, lean build. And the person was taller than she is around 5'8".
That brings us to the next question in our investigation. How important will Dylan's testimony be at trial? Joining me, former federal prosecutor, president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Rahmani, and criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Nima, this is not an eyewitness to the crimes, but an eyewitness who apparently saw the killer. How important is her testimony?
Vinny, not that important. This is why, even if there was a definitive identification, there's all sorts of experts who would come and say how eyewitness testimony is unreliable. And here you have someone that has never been able to definitively identify Brian Kohlberger as the person in the house. And she won't be allowed to do it in court because that would be an unduly suggestive identification when she hasn't been able to do it already. Coupled with the fact that she's talked about her memory issues, maybe she was dreaming. If I'm the state, again, lean into the bad evidence. Get up there and opening and say, you're going to hear from Dylan. She was partying that night. She was drinking. She was sleepy. She said she might have been dreaming. She saw a white man, slim, bushy eyebrows, but she was unable to identify the person as Brian Kohlberger. Get her off the stand quickly and move on. Get all those bad facts out that you know the defense is going to try to elicit during cross.
Josh, how important will this testimony of the closest thing we have to an eyewitness in this case?
But yeah, you know, the state's really trying its best to keep the state's really trying to keep this information in while the defense is pushing so hard to keep it out. And that's because of this positive effect that a specific identifiable feature can be on a jury. When you make that kind of direct linkage with the bushiness of the eyebrows and then look at the defendant, it becomes something the state can focus on and anchor for a prosecution. But at the same time, I'm going to agree with my good friend Naima, where this is a bad fact if the defense wants to make it a bad fact. We've got these memory issues, the drinking, the partying, the lack of consistency. If the state overplays some of this information, the defense will rug pull them and basically go, look at what the state's trying to base their arguments on. Bushy eyebrows. When it just so happens, she had all this collection of bushy eyebrow art on the wall in her bedroom. And it's those little things like that that eventually create a wave that ends up at reasonable doubt. So if I'm the state, I'm not focusing on this at all. There's too much of a potential gift for the defense.
Nima, what do you think? How do you think the jury interprets that? Because I think there's a couple different ways you can look at it. The fact that there are apparently drawings that she's done of bushy eyebrows in her room, like not just one picture, but there's pictures around. And this defendant has bushy eyebrows. He does. There's no doubt he's got bushy eyebrows. But how do they interpret the fact that she's got this room with these images? Is that something that helps the prosecution or defense in this case? Because I can see it both ways.
It could go both ways, and obviously someone who has an affinity for eyebrows and knows eyebrows. But look, you talked about it when you started this segment, Vinny, someone who is going to be very emotional on a witness stand. I can't imagine the survivor's guilt and trauma that she's experienced, that she's the survivor. And ultimately, right, here's someone that didn't even call the police, right? So we know that that's a fact. And again, I'm not saying that Dylan did anything wrong, but you got to be careful how you present her if you're the state. You certainly don't want to put her first. It's a very risky type of witness that can easily break down on the stand because of all the different issues that we've discussed. And we know because of the very broad gag order that she hasn't talked to anyone. And this is going to be the first time since the beginning of the case that she's going to tell her story. So it could really go either way. So I would not focus a lot of attention on this witness. It's too risky, in my opinion, if you're the prosecution.
All right, we have 5 seconds left here, Josh. 0 to 10. How hard is the defense going to go at her on cross-examination?
Oh, an 8 or a 9.
Wow.
You don't want to overplay it, but
Gotcha.
You're going to beat her up on the drinking and the memory.
All right, thanks so much, Nima Rahmani, Josh Schiffer. Always great to have you. This trial will be intense. There is so much at stake, and it begins with justice for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. Will the truth come out, and will their killer pay for his crimes? Anything less will be difficult for the families of these 4 students. Meanwhile, the defendant's defense team is facing a death penalty prosecution. It doesn't get any more serious. That's why every motion, every ruling, and everything that happens in this case is so crucial, and why we are always asking questions. I'm Benny Polite, and we'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
All right, there we go with that one. And hang on here. Hold on, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you're all having a great day. Like I said, there's a lot of this. Hang on here. Find it somewhere here. Some of this stuff. Yoy. Hold on. Well, the first thing, I want to throw this up here real quick, and we're going to look at this real quick too, before we get into much of anything else. So the first thing that I had sent to me was, these are text messages, okay? Now, this is just a cutout of them. And it said, it's in a document here, but it says, the records of these calls are not hearsay as they each do not meet the blah, 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 assertion, written assertion number. So at some point, I'm going to go find the page that's on the full page, but this is just a quick cut in this. DM, we know who that is. Going to BF, we know who that is too. And then BF going to DM. Okay, so from 4/22/08 to 4/24/27. And this is like DM to BF. No one is answering. DM to BF. I'm really confused right now. DM to Kaylee. What's going on? BF to DM. Yeah, dude, what the F? BF to DM. Xana was wearing all black. DM to BF. I'm freaking out right now. DM to BF. No, that's like a ski mask almost. BF to DM saying, shut the fuck up. BF to DM. Actually, DM to BF. Like he had some thing over his head for a little, and then I can't read that really. DM to BF. BF, I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. BF to DM. So am I. DM to BF. My phone is going to die. F. BF to DM. Come to my room. BF to DM. Run down here. Okay. So we know that this was happening. We were told this was happening. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to find the whole page and pull it up and read it, guys. I'm sorry. This was just sent to me clipped like this. What do you mean, SRB? Was there another one that Vinny read too? That's what Sherry just said. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you, Wisdom. Rissa Roberts, welcome. Good to see you too. Thank you guys all for joining us. Brian, listen, we all love you, Brian. Please don't get into that right now. We're just reading through documents and talking about things. I respect and know what you think on this, okay? We can't just spam the chat with that again and again and again and again. Nobody's saying that you're right or wrong or right or anything like that. We know how you feel, bud. But we're talking about a bunch of other stuff right now, and we can't just focus on that one thing. If that's what it is, that's what it is. And then they'll find that out. They'll tell everybody that's what it is. But we don't know, at this point yet. And we have to look at all these other things. That's all. Horse TV, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's horrible either way. It doesn't matter what the reasoning is, but it'll come out. And when it does, of course, you'll be the first person that if that's what happens, I'll be all over it. You were right. But we can't just focus on that one thing. So, you guys probably can't see it because he might be at Mom Bear's. I'm on Bear's side. That's why. That's probably it. So let me find this other. Was it Vinny himself or was it like a court TV thing, you guys, that you're talking about? Hold on a minute. Here we go. This is it. Sorry, you guys.
Welcome to the Tangent Podcast.
1 second.
Big show coming up today. We're talking about the roommates' text messages, the 911 call in the Idaho 4 case involving the 4 University of Idaho students. The defendant obviously facing the ultimate punishment in this case that will be going to trial later this year. Jury selection slated for August. So these text messages,
here we go.
Together a timeline. We're going to go through it today. I am Vinny Politan. Below me, Al Wunsch III. Below him, the radio legend Jonesy. And this is the Tangent Podcast.
Vinny and the Tangent, True Crime Podcast. Vinny has the blue eyes, Al cracks the jokes. Jonesy stays behind the shades, entertaining all folks. It's Vinny and the Tangent, True Crime Podcast.
They really wrote a song for it too, guys. How about that?
Load up all your comments, hit those super chats. Let's go smash that like button so we can all have a blast. Vinny, Allen, Jonesy on the job, they're the sugar.
Is requiring a significant amount of strength, and from the fact that there is DNA and the fingernails of one of the victims, that so they fight back, and they may have fought back. One of the victims was a male that may have fought back. So it takes a lot out of you when you physically to do that.
Just bear with me. I'll let this run for a minute. I'm pulling documents.
It's thank God for those that those two were spared. I mean, we're happy to have that, and that's a nice note in a horrible situation that at least two people survived. But it's I can't imagine for the life of me, after taking down 4 people, you'd have the energy to be able to take down another 2 and still get out before any authorities arrive or anything along those lines.
So I want to start going through a little bit of the timeline that was revealed in a filing.
Well, the adrenaline had to be through the roof.
Yeah. A filing by prosecutors where they are going to try to get certain information into the case. And it's, it's exceptions. We could sit here and spend the next hour talking about the rules of evidence, but I think we want to get into the timeline itself, and maybe in another podcast, we'll talk about the legal rules and how you can get this sort of evidence in. But the headline is that we're really seeing this stuff for the first time. So in the case at bar, starting on November 13th at 2:10 and 29, DM, which is the surviving roommate Dylan, text message to EG, the Uber driver, to inquire if he is driving. The state submits this text message is not hearsay because it'll not be offered for the truth of the matter asserted. Instead, it'll be offered to show a timeline of the night. So DM, who is the surviving roommate, who is the one who saw the bushy eyebrow, was awake and texting at 2:10 from 4:19 to 4:21. DM attempts to call BF, who is the other surviving roommate, Bethany, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison. All calls unanswered. Okay, 4:19 to 4:21, she's making these calls. And this apparently, I guess, is after seeing what she saw, which was this man dressed in black. The records of these calls are not hearsays. They do not meet the definition of statement, oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct intended as an assertion. So let's put that legal stuff aside for a moment, but let's talk about what's happening now. So it looks like her first reaction after seeing this is attempting to call her roommate Bethany, who is downstairs, Xana, who is on the same floor as her, and Kaylee and Madison, who are on the top floor. So it seemed like she did react to what was happening, to what she saw. She didn't just blow it off as, oh, I don't know what this is. Like, there's a feeling that something is happening here.
But she didn't go far enough, unfortunately. I mean, the far enough stage would have been, I'd call 911, just, do it and go from there. She's trying to rationalize or try to, figure out whether or not indeed that's what she saw. I mean, I know that there's questions about there was partying and alcohol and things along those lines. And, she did throw something out there, but didn't go quite far enough, unfortunately.
And it's also 4:00 in the morning. Okay. The closest that I have for an experience like this is there've been a few times in the course of my life with diabetes where I've woken up in the middle of the night with an extreme low blood sugar. Right. And when that happens, as you both know, and I think most of the audience knows, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. So I've never been high. I've never been drunk. So I don't know what that does to you, but I do know that my mind gets altered with the low blood sugar. Things aren't making sense. And when I woke up in the middle of the night with that low blood sugar, it was difficult for me to distinguish between reality and a dream, because there would be an intense dream that would sort of wake me up. But I'm telling you, it was a very strange experience where I couldn't tell what was real and what was a dream until perhaps the next day when I had a moment, feeling perfectly fine to reflect on it. But in the moment, I couldn't tell what was what. And I've got to imagine that's kind of what's going on here, because she's, this is 4:00 in the morning.
But that's even the more particularly odd part of this. 4:00 in the morning, there's someone in the house you don't know. You know your roommates, okay? You know their peccadillos, you know what they do, the things along those lines.
All right, let's see here. Good Lord. Did they actually put this together within a year, like Mom Bear said they should? I mean,
Did they really? Oh,
they changed it.
good.
Yeah, like this is all 25. I'll be damned. They heard you, Mama Bear.
Sweet.
Okay, now I gotta find which document it is. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. Stipulated motion to seal exhibit to states objection. Hold on. These are all. Where's the new stuff at? Or is it backwards? It is backwards. I went the wrong way. I'm sorry, you guys. Derp, 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 derp.
Well, they actually put the most current
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah, it's actually wow.
They're getting smarter.
Well, that's because there's so many of them. It's okay. I found it. Does anybody know which document this was on? Motion to modify. Hold on. Okay. Now I can see. Please. We're looking for one that mentions text messages. Actually, we can get into this first. Or maybe not.
Cassie said, "Go back up."
I want one call. The transcript. That's what I was looking for, was the transcript to the docs page. Oh, okay. Sorry. There you go, ma'am. I'm not used to looking at it like this. This is brand new. These are all the new ones right here. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Can you not do a Control F and search?
Yeah, I could. This is why. See, Miss Sherry just called me dumb. Boom. I forget to do that all the time. I'm sorry. Comes now. I don't need to read all that. Okay. Let me blow it up for you guys a little bit more. Here we go. Get through all that bullshit there. In the case at the bar starting November 13th, sends a text message to EG. Here we go, you guys. Sorry about all the difficulties. We're looking at the text messages between the two. Horse TV, I love the name. Welcome, by the way. And again, Elizabeth Wagner, welcome. Good to see you guys. Oh, we got 55 peeps in here, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. I definitely wouldn't want to be a juror. All right. Text message EG. I'm trying to remember who EG is. Oh, Uber driver. Inquire if he's driving. State submits his text message changed. Okay. Timeline for the night. Was awake. DM was awake and texting at 2:10:29 from 4:19:07 to 4:21:50. DM attempts to call BF. Xana Kernel, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan, all calls unanswered. The records of these calls are not hearsay, as they each do not meet the definition of a statement, oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct intended as and assertion under IRE 801. Now, moving down. This goes from 422.08 to 424.27. DM and BF send the following text messages as we read through that. Okay, and then it says all of the above declarations are present sense impressions and excited utterances. This is supported by DM's grand jury testimony where she indicates she just witnessed a startling event, i.e. heard noises in residence and saw an unknown male in the residence. The declarations indicate both Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen are trying to make sense of the startling event. Contemporaneously, immediately following the startling event, i.e. no time for reflection or fabrication, see DM's grand jury testimony attached Exhibit S3. At 4:24:39, DM calls Ethan Chapin. Call comes unanswered. I'm sorry. This phone record, like the other phone record of calls, is not a statement pursuant to IRE 801. DM and BF continue to text at 4:24:58. DM texts BF, "I'm screwed though." Okay, is that screwed or scared? It's spelled SCRWD. I don't think that could be mistaken for scared, right?
No, that would seem to me be screwed.
Screwed. I mean, it was shortened, but still. Okay. Scared. But it's spelled SCRWD. Siri says scared.
Yeah.
SRB says scared. Cassie says scared. Unless she was saying she's screwed because she thinks that somebody may come after her. Or I don't know, guys.
Why would you put a W in for scared?
That's what I mean. That's a big W too. Or a big R. That was weird the way that. Yeah, why would you put a W in for scared? I don't know. Okay, we'll just go with that though. And BF responds at 4:26. Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Maybe it was scared. Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Both statements are admissible at present sense. Impressions and excited utterances as they are describing an event or their state of mind and are spontaneous reactions to the event rather than the result of reflective thought. At 4:27:47, Dylan calls Gonsalves, call goes unanswered, and 4:28:44, DM calls Kernodle, call goes unanswered. These are not statements pursuant to IRE 801. At 4:32:57, DM sends a text message to Gonsalves stating, "Please answer." This statement is a present sense impression, shows DM's perception of events and an excited utterance. Okay. Now, stop for a minute, everybody. Let's wait. Welcome, Ray. Stitches, good to see you guys. With all that,
wait a minute.
Yeah, with all that, what we just said, with what we've been taught for 2 years, what are you afraid of? Why do you want her to please answer the phone? What is this that they're scared of? That if they had no idea that nothing was going on? Do you see what I'm saying right now? That's what bothers me with this. I'll just leave that there. Okay. Then, next morning, DM sends the following text messages starting at 10:23 in the morning. DM to Gonsalves, please answer. DM to Mogan, are you up? DM to Gonsalves, are you up? These messages are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted. Even if deemed hearsay, they are allowable as present sense impressions as they reflect a consistency of continuation of DM's text messages from the night prior and reflect her then perception of what was occurring. Waking up and realizing that she had not heard from her roommates at 11:39:09, DM has a text exchange with her father. These It doesn't. Of course, it's redacted. These statements are not hearsay as they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead to show a timeline for the morning. At 11:55, DM receives a text message from Jay stating, bro, this text message will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted. DM calls EA. EA is the Emily somebody, right?
EA.
That would be Emily. Wasn't there a girl named Emily that was a friend of theirs?
I'm lost on that one.
You will hear, Wisdom said you will hear DM kept calling Kaylee and Xana, right? Okay, that's what I thought. I knew Eddie would have it. Emily Alant. That's right. Okay, I knew it was that. That was Hunter's girlfriend, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. Jay stating bro. That's all the message said was just bro. That could be Jack or John. I mean, how many Jacks did we hear about?
Good Lord. Too many.
Mm-hmm. And there was a Jake too somewhere in there. Okay, Cassie, we're still here, honey. Okay, so EM or EA, that's Emily. Okay, this phone record is not a statement pursuant to IRA. Receives text message from Jay at 11:51:01 and a vandal alert at 1:04. These texts are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter. I'm not going to read that anymore, guys. You'll just, when I get to that point, I'll say, and again, okay, because it's in here like 75,000 times. Then it says DM and BF testimony contained in State's Exhibit S2 and State's Exhibit S3. The state anticipates that both DM and BF will testify at trial. The state intends to ask each witness about statements made to them on November 13th of 22. This testimony should substantially replicate the testimony that they provided at the grand jury proceedings. So they both provided testimony for that grand jury. We now know that for a fact, okay? The statement submits that statements from both DM and BF to each other are allowable hearsay because they are present sense impressions and or excited utterances. Again, previous education. Judge John Judge has previously ruled that the text messages and statements of DM to BF are present sense impressions and excited utterances, holding both the text messages and testimony of BF as to what DM told her were admissible as exceptions to the hearsay sealed order denying motion to dismiss. Okay, so motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of bias, grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, prosecutorial misconduct, pages 20 filed 12/15 of 23. Yes. DM's phone records contained in Exhibit S1 for November 13th and BF's testimony contained in Exhibit S2 are allowable at trial under Crawford. Whether or not declarant is available as a witness, blah, blah, blah. Any statement found outside the above box that hearsay are not non-testimonial. Finally, we reiterate that the declarant appears for cross-examination at trial. The confrontation clause places no constraints at all. Of the declarations made are deemed testimonial. Both DM and BF will testify at trial anyway. Okay. Based on, and this is the conclusion, based on above cited authority, the state respectfully requests the court's approval in limine of admission of the text message. So they're allowing the text messages to the into the trial. Gotcha. That's DM and BF, not Kaylee phone. Okay. All right. Let me back this up. And also, like I stated, hold on. Because there's more that we're going to talk about. We might as well just open this up now. Let's keep this here. Actually, I'll bring this right back up. Hold on. Too much going on. Give me a second here. Mama Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Hold this down. I'll be right back. I need like 30 seconds. Please.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sherry, you're killing me tonight. Just saying.
Yeah, I would only say the reliance on the coachings for the USPs.
How are you, Yvonne? Anyone know if one was tripped on something? Could be why one wouldn't know if they were dreaming.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Just trying to get back to where. Here we are. Jeez. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste the link in the chat.
Oops.
And go ahead and open up panel because I know there's people that want to explain and talk about this real quick. That was part of this whole thing. So go ahead if you guys want to join me, come on and hit that link and jump up with us. Remember, everybody here, treat each other with respect based on what everybody thinks and feels. Everybody has their own right to that.
Come on, Alfred. Mine will go. Come on, Alfred.
SRB's having a fit. You didn't do the 911 call.
I'm going to do that too, SRB. Don't worry. I'm getting to it. I was trying to stick with what I had talked about first. I'm going to go. We're going to cover all of that, though. So, yeah, we're going to go back to that, too. I'm just opening this up so we can talk about it all. Let me pull that up, too, now. Let me find where them documents went now. Jesus. So organized tonight. And all this.
My 16-year-old, she said that she thought the word was screwed, not scared. It's like if I was texting, that's the way I would say screwed.
Well, that's what I went and I asked Caden. I said SCRWD. I said, what does that mean to you? He said screwed. So, hey, Leah, good to see you tonight. Glad you're here. Appreciate you joining us. And I just asked him because he's 18, teenagers, you know what I mean? Maybe that's a new way they talk.
That's why I asked her.
I don't know. That's what Molly said she thought too.
And Mark and Betty said that that's the way their daughter texts as well.
Right, and she's on the other side of the pond over there. So I don't know if it is what it is, kids or whatever.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask Brandy too. All right, anybody want to join us up here or no? I'm gonna pull that one document that has the 911 call up too. Hold on, so we can go over that. I'm sorry, SRB. I should have done.
That's what I thought in stitches. W wouldn't be in scared.
It would have been clearly it. If anything, SCRED or RD.
Yeah.
The W would have been completely not there. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Peggy said she'd be right back. I said, okay, we'll be here.
Because she was stuck upstairs with the ruckus, maybe. Yeah, see, that could make some sense. Maybe, and that does what Wisdom just said. If you think about that, if she heard or felt what was going on up there, all the bouncing around, slamming, banging, noise making, I'm screwed. I'm stuck here. I can't get around it to get down to you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the way I took it.
Dude, you got to stop changing your damn name. I don't know who you are anymore. Raymond Reddington.
You don't know who Raymond Reddington is?
I love Raymond Reddington.
That's exactly.
I know who it is, but I didn't know it was you.
The last time he was up here, he had Raymond Reddington.
Exactly.
Until I saw that. First off, Roll Tide on the hat.
No motherfucking time. How y'all doing?
Right. There you go.
Good.
Miss Potts. There's Miss Potts. I ain't seen her in a long time.
Did she come in? There she is. Hey, Miss Potts.
Miss Potts. Good to see you. All right.
Hello, Miss Potts.
Now I gotta
Me and
find
Miss Potts have like, I mean, me and Miss Potts have like 2-hour conversations every day about this fucked up trial.
I miss talking to Miss Potts. It's been a long time.
She's awesome.
Yes.
So, since you just kind of read it all, I'm curious on your take on what you just read.
And here we go, right out of the gate. Runners
Damn
up.
right.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about today, guys. So, yeah, I'm gonna read it again. I do want to cover the 911 call thing too, because I want everybody's opinions on that too. But
because here's the problem. Here's the main issue I have, right? Especially if the main thing we heard is she saw this 6'10" figure outside her door that made her frozen in shock, and she described whatever. So I don't care what she said. Seeing a firefighter with a vacuum, one eyebrow, not one eyebrow, who knows? But what she didn't do, right, is explain and be in fear of what she saw to Bethany. She's not telling Bethany, hey, I just saw this guy outside my door. Hey, there's somebody in the house with a firefighter outfit and a vacuum. Do you know what's going? No. What they're in the moment of fear, they're describing Xana and what her attire is and what she's wearing.
Xana was wearing all black.
So the words she's dressed in all black and a ski mask, when they're talking in the verbiage of Xana, then all of a sudden transponds the next day to, oh, well, I saw a guy in the house clad in black and a ski mask on. So that's what she told Ellie. She didn't tell Ellie what her and Bethany were discussing here, seeing Xana. She tells Ellie, I saw a male. Huh.
And then
That's pretty odd.
It took me back reading that little "Don't worry, I'm here to help" thing that was put in the PCA, which you know how we feel about that. But was somebody in there trying to look like something else when they went in to do this? And I'm not saying him. I'm saying somebody.
But here's my thing, right? Why at the time
you're right. That's what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Well, I just feel like if you look at the text, I understand there's some missing, but if you look at the timing and stuff, it goes from, not really, I guess, doing anything to all of a sudden, bang, she's calling everybody in the house and she's texting Bethany back and forth and they're saying, what the hell's going on? Now that tells me, just trying to use my common sense here, that they heard everything transpiring.
No, something's wrong. Thank you.
She was obviously worried about Kaylee because she called Kaylee. She said, Kaylee, what's going on? She's the only other person that she texted other than Bethany. Kaylee, what's going on?
Please answer. Meaning,
please. Well, that was later on, but I'm saying during the time of 2:20 and 2:22, whatever the hell it is, she texted, it says Goncalves, Kaylee, what's going on? No response.
And that doesn't sound like, I know you're playing with your dog, or I think you're playing with your dog.
Yeah.
That means something in the house is not right. Something,
especially when the woman on the first floor is telling you, run down to my room, and now she has to run across the room to get to the steps that lead down to Bethany, right? So she's not just making a quick right or left out of her room and running down the steps. She has to run now you're going to be in fear so much after seeing this guy that's supposedly tall, bushy eyebrows that you're in fear of, and you're just going to run across the house a minute after seeing him, 30 seconds after seeing him.
Maybe that's what the "I'm screwed" text means. You're stuck in the middle of this, or on the backside of this, and you can't get through it.
So then, as Bethany being her friend, she knows her friend's on the second floor, trapped and screwed. You don't dial 911.
Thank you. That was what I was getting ready to say. So at that point, thank you for saying it for me, as you were asking me what I thought. At that point, why did you not pick the phone up and dial, hey, 911? There's something in my house that's going on that I don't understand. Please come here now.
Thank you. And again, all I'm trying to do is use my head. I'm just using my head. I'm not, again, I don't care if Brian did it or not. It's just, if something's going to be laid out in front of me, I'm going to look at it for what it is. I'm not going to sit here and try to twist stuff and make this fit, make that fit. So, it's not victim blame. No. At this point, we know what's going on. They're all hearing it going on. They know what's happening. They're describing Xana and scared why she's clad in black and in a ski mask, which makes no sense to me. And now you can say that she all of a sudden started describing a male after she was describing Xana. But in my opinion, I think her texts are messed up and she meant to say she, not when it says he, because they were never talking about a he. They were talking about Xana, and then all of a sudden she just starts talking about this random guy. No, I think her texts are messed up to where she, right there, it's supposed to say like she had something over right there, like she had something over is forehead and little and mouth. Like, where would that come out of nowhere if they were literally just talking about Xana? Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost. Shut the fuck. Actually, and then bang, they describe the ski mask again. Now, where does it all of a sudden go from Xana to this random guy that they didn't even introduce to each other?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, I do.
That's all. I'm not, I'm not here to.
You're good, dude. You're good. Now let's take our time and go with something here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say. I was looking at this a little bit ago. Okay.
Exactly, Miss Potts.
DM was awake and texting at 2:10 in the morning from 4:19 to 4:21. Now we were told in the PCA. Let's start here, okay? And I know Andy will get this too.
Yeah.
You're on poll. It's good to see all you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a while.
That's my question to you: is do you think at this time, 4/22/08, that stuff's still going on?
Well, we're told
because Brian's up the road at this point.
Brian's gone. That's what I mean. Brian's already in the car and
he left at 4:18. If we're gonna say, he was up at that shot that they have him on at 4:20, if that's his car. So 4:18, he's out of the house. Right here, 4 minutes later, they're still texting and scared, like shit's going.
Right. So we're made to understand via the piece of Swiss cheese, whatever you guys call it now, PCA. 4:0 something. Xana's woke. Or I'm sorry, DM has been woken up at that point at 4:08, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 4:08. That's when she's woken up. Can't talk. Woken up. So
yeah.
Jesus Christ, woke up
after her phone. So do you think she? Okay, so in that case, is it your assumption that she fell asleep from the time that she contacted the rideshare driver, which we don't know why she did that, to the point of 4:08?
That's my guess. That's based on what she said. Yeah. Think about it. Yes. Thank you. That's what I mean. Okay. So she contacts this driver. She falls asleep, takes a little nap, and she wakes back up at 4:08 because she hears what she thinks, based on the PCA, is Kaylee playing with her dog. Okay. No, she didn't. That's not it, you guys, because this tells a whole different story right here now. If you come down here, this starts at 4:22. Okay. 4:22. She goes to Bethany. Hey, no one's answering. I'm really confused right now. And then she
but like I said to you, why is she trying to call every single person in the house?
Because
she just heard somebody playing with the dog.
Nope, because that's not true, Willie. Come on.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. That's
what I'm saying. That's what this tells you. That can't be true if that's the case. There's something going on in that house that she knows is not right, because that's why in turn she says something to Bethany twice, okay, and then says, what's this? No one's answering. I'm really confused right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be confused? What's the big deal with this?
Because she's probably hearing arguing, and all of a sudden everybody's stopped.
Right. Okay. Then she goes to Kaylee. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Then Bethany comes back to her. Yeah, dude. What the hell? Or what?
Now notice here. The next line. Who's the first person to describe anything about Xana?
Bethany.
It's not Dylan, is it?
No. And this is where there's things here that are redacted in the middle of this that we got to guess what they are now.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there's other pieces in this that were mixed in that'll tell you stuff probably that we don't see. So anyway, yeah, dude, what the fuck?
So where did she see Xana? Where did Bethany see Xana if she's on the first floor?
Because they were well, unless she changed, but Bethany was there at that party with them, remember?
Yeah, I get it, but why is this a big deal in this text? Who cares a shit if somebody was wearing purple or who cares what color they were? It's obviously a big deal for Bethany to tell Dylan Xana was wearing all black, and then to say I'm freaking out right now.
Well, Bethany or Dylan must have said something in between there to her. I just saw somebody wearing all black clothes or something, maybe. Okay,
gotcha.
That has to be what's missing out of this. Otherwise, that wouldn't have come back.
And then they were trying to kind of dictate what they saw, and one was like, "Well, I saw Xana wearing all black. I saw her in this." Okay, I got you.
Right. So maybe that no one's answering. So maybe she put a text in there somewhere that says, "Hey, I just saw somebody in all black. Blah blah blah. What's going on? I'm really confused right now." Then says to Kaylee, "Hey, Kaylee, what's going on?" Bethany comes back too and says, "Yeah, what the fuck? Xana was wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now." Dylan says back to her. Then Bethany says, "Shut the fuck up." There was something in there that's missing now. Okay, so she something pretty serious right there for her to say that.
Absolutely.
BF back to DM. Actually, no, it's like a ski mask almost. Yeah, they took out the good stuff. Obviously, you can see this now.
See what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, because this is the state's version. Imagine, if we had it all.
And the defensive side probably has all the other stuff fit in there. I guess I doubt it, but
Yep.
anyway.
Well, why wouldn't they? They downloaded
Dylan must have said to Bethany about, "I saw somebody wearing all black with a mask on." What kind of a mask?
And she was probably like, like a COVID mask.
Right. No, it's like a ski mask almost. Shut the fuck up. Right. See?
Yeah, that makes and they're kind of like surprised that they're seeing Xana right now.
And Bethany's saying, actually, now that actually though makes me wonder, is that a question or a statement? Like, as in, actually,
I think it's kind of like actually, like, like seriously.
Yeah, like kids talk different than we do, right?
Yeah.
See, Annie said that something tells me Dylan saw Xana and Kaylee going at it. Oh, wow. Okay, that's possible. I don't know. That could be too. I've never thought of that, Annie. That's okay. Interesting. So next we move on. DM goes to Bethany like he had some, I don't know what the hell that means. Some to biff over his forehead and little end mouth. What the hell?
Exactly. See what I mean?
Like he had something over.
Like she had something over her head and a little. I don't know.
Forehead.
like
he had something over his forehead and little
end mouth.
And
yeah, okay, I get it. She must have been nervous.
But who's the he? If it's a he, who is this he?
That's what's redacted. that's redacted from this. Okay.
So are they trying to?
With everything that's so jumbled, it could be she.
Exactly. That's what Miss Potts was saying.
Yeah,
could be
because they were just talking about Xana, and this is remember all these texts happened in 2 minutes, so it's like boom, 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 boom.
Well, right, and then Molly just said too. So then, how can you see the eyebrows then?
Thank you.
There you go.
Good one, Molly. Good catch. See,
or not even that eyebrow.
Anything? Yeah, right.
Supposedly it's one.
Maybe because she spun around and looked at the wall as she's panicking and seen all the eyebrows pinned up on her corkboard. And
that's what pisses me off too. Is like we're supposed to believe she was hallucinating and believe half her story, but the other half is her imagining it. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, right. Okay. So then there's that. Then we have no. I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. She says, so am I. So they were both freaked out. Okay. Neither one dialed 911 at that point. If you're freaked out.
Yeah. Why is Bethany freaked out, dude? Why?
Telling you they saw something, Willie.
She's supposed to be on the first floor, nestled in her bed, didn't hear anything going on, right?
They both saw something. They both saw something. This is how they both saw something. And I said this before, but they had to have. Why would you be freaked out and not call 911? Are you scared? Are you that scared that you didn't call 911?
Yeah. And I know we talked about all this same stuff years ago, but this just confirms it. You know what I mean?
And which was doubted that these text messages even existed, even though Steve said they did.
We were told frozen shock. She didn't move out of her room for 8 hours. She went back to sleep. Right. All this shit, and all of a sudden, here we go. She's alert at 2:10, texting the rideshare driver to see if he's driving around. Why is she doing that?
100%. Thank you. And then Wayne says, "Who goes to sleep after freaking out, especially for 8 hours? Nobody."
Yeah, she took a 2-hour nap, especially on hallucinogens. Nobody's going to bed.
No, I can envision somebody this freaked out sitting on a bed, rocking back and forth, going, "What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm seeing.
Yep.
Annie says again, they're freaking out because they can hear their roommates going at it and saw one in all black and a ski mask. In my opinion, I see what you're saying. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get it.
It's just wild, man.
And of course, Bethany says, so am I. DM says to Bethany, my phone's going to die. Fuck. BF says, come to my room and run down here.
But then
they knew, Willie. They knew. They knew. They knew.
I gotta make sure you're with it, brother, because there's a lot of creators that are like, this proves that they saw Brian. I'm like, what?
No, they knew something happened or is happening or something went on. This is why are you run to my room? I'm scared to death. I'm freaking out. What? Why are you doing all
and
this?
then what? A couple seconds later, she's saying, I'm screwed. Why would you be screwed?
Yeah. And
are you texting each other in the same room with each other at that point? Like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, they could have if they were trying to be dead quiet so nobody heard them in there. Think of that.
And if BF saw nothing,
so why is she calling
why
people?
is she freaking out?
Yeah, and why is she calling people if she's trying to be quiet? Because if they answer the phone, you're not going to say, what's going on? You're just going to be like, what's going on?
I mean,
No.
yeah, I get you there too.
They didn't give a shit about making noise.
In my opinion, this says a lot right here by itself. Just this little bit, okay?
Maybe they were screwed and scared at this point. So
I mean, it could be that they were scared and thought they were screwed because they were scared. That's why they were scared.
Yeah.
Ethan and Xana were in the bedroom. Michelle says yes. Yeah.
Supposedly.
Together.
But here's the thing though. You got to think, right? The 911 call. Who are they describing the whole time of the 911 call that they found? Xana. So if they all found Xana and they're all huddled around Xana, why isn't anybody describing Ethan? Because they're not next to each other.
I don't think they were either. I think Xana was probably in the bedroom and Ethan was more towards the hallway area.
I
think the other way around,
or vice versa.
I think Ethan was passed out this whole time, and Xana's somewhere in the hallway.
Yeah,
because they don't say that there's a male and a female passed out. They say that there's basically they say a drunken female that's passed out, which still doesn't make sense to me either. How you don't see a pool of blood.
We're gonna jump to that stuff too, but I just wanted to go through one at a time. These things.
Oh, you didn't go over? Oh, my bad. I didn't know what you.
Well, I'm glad you guys are here for it, but still, it's okay. Yeah. See, look at that. The way that's written in there.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What's the R exemplified? Like, why is that so big?
That just means because instead of saying SCER, it's still R. So screwed. That's just how these kids type, dude.
Yeah.
I guess.
Now, if it was ED at the end, I could see how it's scared. But it's the WD to me. If you look at your keyboard, the W and there's no way that's messed up. That means I'm screwed.
There'd be an E there in between the W and the E. My keyboard's QWER. Side by side.
Yeah. So SC, and now you have to capitalize the RWD.
Right. And this is on a phone, mind you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take the time to do that. Now, here's the biggest problem with all of this. Stop everything we're talking about and back up and look at the times on this.
Mm-hmm.
At 4:24 and at 4:25, Brian was in the car and gone based on what we were told.
He's home having a meal at this point.
Do what?
He's home having a meal at this point.
Yeah, 4:27, 4:28, 4:32. Guys, this has all been over based on the PCA for 20 minutes or more now. Okay.
No.
So is the timeline wrong? First and foremost, that takes the timeline and spins it a little now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And not one mention of any blood whatsoever.
Right.
The dog's still barking at this point until when Miss Potts just said.
Yeah, where does that say that the dog was barking until 4:55? I didn't know that. Maybe I just didn't see it somewhere, but I'm sure
it was in something we read.
Gotcha. So the dog's going crazy this whole time?
That's what the document stated. Now also
that would make sense.
Right, yeah. No, of course. Now DM calls Gonsalves
what happened?
And went unanswered at 4:28.
Working test.
DM Noodle went unanswered. At 4:32, DM sends a text message to Gonsalves saying, please answer. you know something's wrong. You know something's wrong to say that. Please answer.
She texts everybody, dude.
Right. She went before that.
Please answer. Are you up? Are you up? Why are you so scared to walk upstairs and see if they're awake?
Because they knew, Willie. They knew.
Oh.
Okay. Then the next one comes in the next morning. She had a conversation with her dad, which we were told it was her mom, but that's okay. A text conversation with her dad at, it was 11 something right there.
Mhm.
11:50. No.
So now she's calling her dad.
11:39. She has a text exchange with her father. What was that? Dad, what do I do?
Yeah, what's good? Yeah, something happened. And her dad was probably like, call the cops.
Right. Why did you wait though till 11:39?
They had to get their story straight.
But instead of show a timeline for the morning, 11:50, DM receives a text message from Jay stating, "Bro."
Yeah, what's up with that? That's a weird
Okay,
place,
so
bro.
the way I take bro, I asked Caden about that too. I was like, what would you, if you got a text message from that person? He was like, I said, what would that mean? He was like, bro, like what's
Yeah.
going on or what happened or
Like maybe she sent a picture or said what was going on, and he was like, bro.
this is the redaction here that she sent to Jay, whichever one of the 5 it is, and said something happened and he came back with bro. Like, as in, really? What the fuck? You know?
Yeah. So who knows what she said to him?
Right. So that was 11:55.
Mm-hmm.
3 seconds later, DM calls, not text, but calls EA. That's that Emily.
So nobody actually called Hunter. They called Emily.
Emily, which is Hunter's girlfriend.
I get it.
But
here's my point. Right? Here's my point. Everybody went to say, oh, they called Hunter over because they couldn't open the door. Bullshit. They called Emily.
Emily got Hunter and said, hey, this happened. We need to go there now. You need to go there now. Whatever. Okay. And then pursuant to that, DM receives a text message from Jay at 11:51 and a vandal alert at 11:104. Those were the last messages, I'm guessing, plus whatever's been redacted.
And what's that text from Jay?
I want to know which Jay this is.
And I want to know what was said in that text.
Agreed. And that's probably some of the most important stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
Critical, the 11:50 text. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get back over to you guys. Jay is Hunter Johnson. Okay, that's what Not Today said. Is it Hunter Johnson or is it Jack or Jake?
Yvonne thinks it's Hunter Johnson.
Okay, so they called him by his last name. It could be.
But what's Hunter? Why would Hunter be texting bro and all this? Wouldn't he already be there in the house at 11:51?
Well, if the timeline is what we're supposed to believe, remember, it seems like the timeline's changed here a little bit.
Yeah, but I still thought the 911 call went out at.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought you were muting. I thought you were muting on purpose.
Huh?
No, we got you, bud. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hey, what's up?
What's up, man? Yeah, and like Annie says again, the call to Emily and text from Jay are seconds apart. So they were probably sitting there side by side.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit, man.
But like, what provoked her to call them?
It is crazy, Cap, and that's a good point, Willie.
Like, why are you calling your neighbors over?
I didn't
Why
know
didn't you call 911
haywire.
hours ago when you were freaked out?
Well, why aren't you calling them at 4:00 in the morning when you're freaked out to come over and see what's going on? Why are you waiting till noontime and saying, "Hey, I think something's going on"? When you know since what 4:20, whatever it was, that shit's going on, you wait till noon the next day to let people come over and try to help you. Come on.
Well, now,
Can you turn up Cap's volume a little bit? I can barely hear him.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, guys. 1 second here. Say something, Cap.
What's that?
Say something else.
Hello?
There we go. He's just
good.
That's
Am I
better.
coming in? Am I coming in okay, or I'm giving you guys static here?
No, you were just a little
really
low.
quiet.
Yeah, it's just low.
No, I put up StreamYard and I got a phone call and everything went haywire, froze, and
It knocks you off. Yeah, it'll knock you off. Sorry. I should have warned everybody about that. If anything happens, StreamYard don't like nothing. It kicks you out no matter what.
That's my life.
Welcome, Don Knotts. At my age, I wouldn't want anybody reading my phone at 4:30. I don't blame you, sir. Welcome, Charlotte. Good to see you, by the way. Not today. Good to have you. And yeah, that's what it is too. Not today. Bro is like impatience. Like, let's get this party started. We're ready. Or, hey, Vix, good to see you. Or like, bro. That's how it was explained to me too. Please, guys, make sure to hit that like button when you come through the door. There's more to come here. Rowena said, I think Hunter Johnson, it's his text 11:51. Okay, now mind you guys, there's things redacted in here. So their times are redacted in between things. So this could have started earlier than this, okay? Because again, in the PCA, we're told that Xana, or why do I keep doing that? That Dylan first saw and heard things at 4:08, I think it was, when she was first woken up thinking that Kaylee was playing with the dog. It's great to have you here, Vix. So yes, I love having Cap up here. KL Wingate, welcome back. Good to see you. It's great to see a lot of you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for joining us.
Wade Bird said, I strongly feel these girls were advised by sorority on procedures all through the morning. Why are they not getting put on the stand to answer for that? Look how the frats got on during Riley's strain.
Well, here's the thing. They did testify for the grand jury. That document stated that, and they are being put on the stand for the trial. That stated that too. We shall see what they answer, or what they claim the fifth on. I don't know. Depends on how this goes, but I don't know. Anyway,
I still just find it absolutely amazing that everything they presented to the grand jury was all false.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like literally all of it.
I agree.
The route.
I'll tell you, these gag orders, I think, do more damage than good.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, this gag order, I think, has been a nuisance, a nightmare to begin with. And I think, Hitler wants to. Hitler's actually, I heard that Hitler actually is thinking of removing most of it, and he says not too sensitive to the case, and the public should see it. So,
well, that's why we're seeing all these documents now, because of him, basically. Or else it would all be sealed. We wouldn't know. I mean, think about the stuff we don't know. That's what's crazy.
yeah, it's not like national security risk, and there's CIA operatives all over the world. You know what I mean? Like risk.
But Miss Potts told me, like, this is how, like, Idaho does things. Like, this is how they did it in the what's her name's trial too.
Vallow.
Yeah, and like they always seal everything. So it's an
Idaho thing. Sure.
All right, so we're gonna move into the 911 sit stuff here.
You have to kind of eat anyway.
I think. All right, let's see here. Phone call made within approximately 1/2 hour of last lewd act. Wait, what? Were admissible under excited utterance. I hate reading all this court stuff. Exception to hearsay rule. Victim was in obvious distress, and lapse of time was not so great as to render exception inapplicable. In the case at bar, most of the declarations made were present sense impressions. HJ located the unresponsive. That's Hunter Johnson right there. Okay, HJ located the unresponsive body of Xana Kernodle and informed Bethany Funk and DM to call 911. EA, that's Emily, I can't say her last name, Eddie knows it, was present at the time. All declarants personally perceived the event, i.e. Kernodle unresponsive. The majority of the declarations were describing a dispatcher, Carolina Calvin, what they were perceiving, describing to dispatcher, i.e. present sense impressions. Those statements relate to Kernodle being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after Hunter Johnson discovered Kernodle's body. Some declarations made would also be considered excited utterances. Those statements include, oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. As well as heavy heaving, breathing, and crying that can be heard throughout the call. The declarants were responding to a startling occasion, discovery of unresponsive roommate. The statement regarding a person being in the home is in direct response to why Kernodle might be passed out. All statements are made while the declarants are processing what has happened. And okay, let me stop something. Back up here. This is very clean. This is very clean and very cut and precise. Everybody knows how brutal this was, okay, in this house, okay? We know how many mortal wounds there were on these kids, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And they're still putting this in here that she's passed out.
Oh,
There
wait
was
until the 911 call.
blood everywhere and stab wounds and this and that. Why is that not being stated in here? Am I wrong or by saying that or no?
I mean, you're right. Just wait till the call.
Okay. So the statement regarding a person being in the home is in direct response to why Kernodle might be passed out. All statements are made while the declarants are processing what is happening and were made before an opportunity to reflect and fabricate why Kernodle is unconscious. Clearly, the statements of this is why Mikey was going off last night. Clearly, the statements of BF, DM, EA, HJ, and the dispatcher, Caroline and Calvin, fall within the hearsay rule exception. John Judge has already ruled that the 911 call is not hearsay, not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. And even if deemed hearsay, the exceptions for present sense, impression, and excited utterance apply on August 23rd of 23. Defendant moved to dismiss the grand jury indictment. One basis for the motion was that the 911 call was improperly admitted. Admitted hearsay, cumulative, irrelevant, and improper attempt to bolster witness testimony in response. Judge held as follows. Further, even if 911 call is hearsay, the exceptions, if for present sense, impression, and excited utterance, apply as statements made by the caller, i.e. the surviving roommates, HJ, and another friend who had arrived, were made immediately after Hunter Johnson discovered Miss Kernodle's body and instructed the roommates to call 911, IRE 803. Let me get through it. Rational, justifying the present sense. Impression exception is that the immediacy of the statement offers no opportunity for fabrication. Statements were excited utterances because victim was still under stress of the event. Okay. Moving on. Sealed order denying motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury. Okay. Regarding the emotion in the caller's voices, Judge further held that the evidence was relevant as to why law enforcement was sent to 1122 King Road on November 13th, as opposed to just EMS when the call was for an unconscious individual. I questioned that the first day about the EMS thing, guys. Remember that. The testimony was deemed relevant to the effect it had on dispatcher Calvin and not cumulative of Officer Nunez. Statements made on 911 calls are admissible regardless of whether or not witness testified. Okay. Whether or not declarant, any statement found outside of the above exceptions, hearsay, not testimonial, for purposes of a Crawford analysis. Further, even if somehow deemed testimonial, the Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment does not bar their admission. Finally, we reiterate that the declarant appears for cross-examination at trial. The Confrontation Clause places no constraints at all on the use of his prior testimonial statements, and there's case law on that. There, of course, there is. It is therefore irrelevant that the reliability of some out-of-court statements cannot be replicated, even if the declarant testifies to the same matter in court. Okay, so the conclusion is, based on the above cited authority, the state respectfully prays for the court's approval and lemony of the admission of the recordings and transcripts of 911 call to Whitcomb on November 13th of 22, immediately following the discovery of Xana Kernodle unresponsive at King Road. Okay. Okay, so now here we go.
Now, do you want to role play this? I can act like the dispatcher and then.
Yeah,
no, it's a lot easier that way. Trust me.
Absolutely. So you can be, yeah.
So Q's gonna be the dispatcher, and A is gonna be like all the. This is gonna be A1, A2.
Okay. All right. So you'll be.
All right. So I'll start. 911, location of your emergency.
Hi. Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what we have.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122. No, don't.
Okay, what is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
And is this a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification, please.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
Okay, so they all start talking to each other then, I guess.
That's all redacted there, yeah. And then again, what's the rest?
Okay, and tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates who's passed out, she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. No, we saw.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need somebody to keep the phone. Stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone's passed out, can you find that out?
Yeah. I'll come on. We gotta go check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong?
All right, dispatching Moscow, a law ambulance for.
She's not waking up.
Unconscious, 1122 King Road. 70 is en route. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, maybe.
1122 King Road. All ambulance respond for unconscious. I copy. 58 multiple RPs on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up. Believe she got drunk last night and about a male being in the room with them, being around. That one I copy about 20-year-old female. See, how do they know that? That one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. Copy.
Yeah, it's Evan.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. And how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes. 20. Do you want to talk to him?
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people now.
Okay. Sorry. They just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay. En route.
Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Okay, hello?
Okay, I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line.
Okay.
If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. And I don't know what you're saying. The patient is not conscious, not breathing. And a whole bunch of talking. And then, okay, if there is defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one.
Unconscious, not breathing.
Do you have a defibrillator?
Yep. Yes, we have one.
Yes, we have one. Wait, maybe they have that backwards. Okay.
Oh wait, that's yeah. Wait, so the answer was yes, we have one. So they did have one?
That's what it's saying.
Huh.
That's interesting.
And then the question, but are you talking to the officer?
Yes. Okay. Maybe that was the police arrived with the defibrillator.
Okay, so they were already so they came at this point. Okay, I'm gonna let you go since they're with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
And the rest is just like me.
Now back up here. EMS rolled on this. Okay, they dropped. Moscow engine was dropped on this. They dropped 2 ambulances, I believe, on this too, and law enforcement. But guess who never did touch the scene? EMS and fire. They never touched the scene. Never. All law enforcement.
I want to know how the hell they knew she was 20 years old before they asked, and why they said it was a homicide if they just said she was drunk and passed out.
There may have been some things that were pulled from this, redact wise.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the chat is saying. It's heavily redacted.
That's
gotcha.
Welcome, Phil. Good to see you, Phil. Thanks for joining us.
But isn't it weird though
Every other line.
how they call 911 and they start trying to explain themselves? Isn't it the last thing you're worried about when You just found somebody stabbed to death?
Yeah. Now, let's go to the beginning of this, Willie. Back to where we started this at here. Okay.
I don't know, guys. Pretty good, man. I feel like I'm listening to an interview on the Actors Guild. Pretty good.
I think the first person on the phone was the neighbor.
Really?
Listen to this part. I was just reading that again. All right, 911. That was that. So on and so forth. What's the 1122? No. Now listen. This part here. What is the address of the emergency? 1122. No, don't.
Yeah. What's up with that?
What's the rest of the address? Oh,
A is a woman.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mom Bear. Yeah, they're all labeled up here. So good. I'm glad you're looking at that. So remember that. Oh, Kings Road. Okay. It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure I have it right? A1. I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them.
Oh, now,
okay.
Yeah, but doesn't Hunter live across from them?
But it's a woman. Woman 1 is A1.
But wouldn't that be Emily?
Whoever lived in that little house to the right of them, if you're standing in front of the house, remember the neighbor that they took the camera footage from?
I guess it's just weird because they say all the names of the people that called and they didn't ever mention a neighbor.
Right. Phil said, yeah, the neighbor's next to them. And he says, yeah, they called immediately, start giving a story, and dispatch never says, can you start CPR?
Yeah, that's what's weird. Because all she knows is there's somebody unconscious that passed out.
I think it is the pumpkin house, Mittens, yeah. So the neighbor from next door was the first on the phone, is what I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 911 operator gets the phone passed 4 to 5 times from different people.
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point Hunter gets on and says, can you talk to them? And then there's no talking at that point.
And somebody got mad, like, I need you guys to talk to them.
Right. And Willie, to answer your question about them living close, it's a half a block away, like Phil just said.
Okay. So it's not right off to the right then?
No, that house to the right was her neighbor, and that's where they got the Ring camera footage from and the supposed sounds that were heard from in the house.
So I wonder what made the neighbor come over.
Thank you. And why was that never talked about before? Why was that never talked about before?
Ding, 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 ding.
The neighbor was never.
I just asked the questions. Don't get mad at me, everybody.
Good. You're good, bud. 11:20 or 11:12. That's right. Thank you, Annie.
You know, this is how I basically sponge my information because I can care less one way or the other if he did it or not. It's just everything that comes out. Everything that comes out is throwing us in, like an opposite way. Nothing is showing anything else implicating him.
Right.
That's what's wild to me. Like at least something.
The people that we have listed on the phone here were a woman, another woman, and a man.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that were at the house that were talking to the dispatch.
Q2 is. I'm right.
And Hunter was a block away, like Phil's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. The girl in the
So were these Q's other officers then?
Q was dispatch.
Man.
And then I think where are we at here? Q.
Because at the end there's like 5 of them talking to each other, so I figured
they probably had the the transmit from the officer and probably from EMS.
Mm-hmm.
A is a woman.
And why did but EMS they waved off, right? Isn't that true?
I don't know if they waved them off, but when they got there, they had them stand down. They never touched the scene. Never.
Gotcha.
That's what we were told, and I think it was Annie that questioned that because me being first responder, I was like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, because when you make a call, I cleared this in the very beginning with everybody and said, when a call like this comes in for an unresponsive person, they automatically will roll a bus, an ambulance. Okay, it's rolled with PD. In fact, they'll roll a bus before they'll roll a PD car. Okay, unless there's some kind of a fight involved or something, they just automatically roll an ambulance. But with this, I think it was because of the tone of voice is what that was iterated through this. They rolled PD with this, and they rolled the engine, which is probably their rescue vehicle. That's when they bring the firefighters in. EMS crew usually rolls in an ambulance by themselves or a rescue truck. When you need a little bit more hands-on or heavy-duty stuff, possibly they roll the rescue team per se, which would come in an ambulance or a truck. So They got
There's
the engine.
3 women and 5 men.
3 women, 5 men. Yes.
I guess it's just weird to me that you have 3 or 4 people looking at a body and they think she just passed out, but yet as soon as a cop gets there, they know that it's a bloody crime scene and then no EMS.
Well, because the police look at it and know, and these kids obviously, unless they did know and didn't want to say, because at the very beginning of this call, what's the address of the emergency? 1122. No, don't.
No, don't.
What's that right there? Don't give the address.
Or maybe somebody went to touch her and then somebody said no, don't. I mean, that could be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
It sure is, Cap.
Now you have 4 people contaminating, the area. Then.
Well, we know.
I mean, all these people in the house. I mean, there's got to be DNA everywhere. I mean, who knows if DNA is under there?
And I'm going to put out a statement. This is just an absolute alleged opinion of mine.
Yeah.
But before any of this happened, anybody else, before this call was made, I'm going to ask you guys, how many people do you think went in that house?
Well, that's the thing. If she called Emily or she texted Emily and then they come running over, and if they're on the front lawn making a big scene at noontime, other kids are seeing it, words are getting around. I don't know.
Because they can say nobody else went in there before the police got there. I don't believe that. Okay. These people were all friends. This was their party house. They all hung out together. I can imagine that people, because there was, my understanding from what I was told, I don't know if this is true or not, that there was probably 25 to 30 people there at one point in time. Maybe just standing around.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe like outside, because at that point it said that they came out screaming and freaking out. I'm sure everybody heard yells and stuff, and that's why I think there's other 911 calls.
And then when they claim Xana to be unresponsive, I'll bet you there were other kids that ran in and looked. And I don't tell me nobody went all the way upstairs. Not one person.
Oh, somebody did.
Yes,
somebody did.
I'll tell you.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll tell you, all that blood everywhere. Wouldn't you think, like, the first thing on the phone would be like, God, there's blood everywhere,
Yeah.
Blood leaking out of the walls. And
she's stabbed. She's cold. I mean, she's been there for 8 hours, man.
And it's got to be rigor mortis.
It's setting in. Yeah, and you can't tell me those 2 roommates sat there smelling that all night. That much blood. I mean, Dago, like a rhinoplasty at a in a hospital, that smells up like half the freaking floor.
It's bad. The blood, especially a lot of it, it leaves a very metallic.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Bad smell, guys, and especially with that much, don't tell me you didn't smell it. And especially, well, I will say this much: if it was cold and that door was left open, that will take that down a little bit. But not
if these 2 are on the first, but if these 2 are on the first floor in Bethany's room, supposedly, and the house is freezing, they don't. That makes this is crazy. This is why it's like a movie, man.
I'm gonna make a statement, and this is absolutely just opinion. But I'm going to bet that they both the girls, at some point came out of that room and went and looked to see what happened. Went back into the room, freaking, like, maybe freaked out, I guess. I don't know. But they had to have at least stepped up. Nobody went to the bathroom that whole 8-hour period of time. Come on. Somebody walked out of that room to use the bathroom, to go look at something. Somebody.
They didn't start texting other people they know after they were with each other. Come on.
And then
all of a sudden.
And I think, dude, that's where the text between Dylan and her father comes into play. That somebody walked out or went upstairs and said, "Oh my God, what do I do with this?" And called Dad and said, "Dad, what the hell do I do in this situation?" He said, "You call the fucking police."
That's actually That's actually a good point about the bathroom. I never thought of that. After 8 hours,
especially if they were drinking the night before, Cap. Come on.
Yeah, and you know what else I heard too is, and I I learned this from an episode of Joe Kenda. He showed up at a crime. There's an episode where he shows up at a crime scene, and he's talking about this guy that was stabbed and screwed up or whatever, and there's blood everywhere, and he could smell the alcohol in the blood. He said when people are drinking, you could smell the alcohol in the expelled blood.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, and then it's otherwise it's got like a coppery kind of smell, and then it's like he says it smelled like you could smell that the guy who was deceased was drinking because of the blood.
Yeah, you can. So, I've been in that. I've been around that actually. You can smell like what smells like It's a really hard smell. We had a guy that he was an alcoholic, mind you, but he got into a bad car wreck and was bleeding everywhere, and you could smell the alcohol coming out of him. It was bad, but it is what it is.
I had to do a crime scene on a vehicle cleanup because the cheap insurance company wouldn't total the freaking car out. She got shot, went through the door, hit her in the hip, and that thing was that nobody in the shop wanted to touch it. That was horrible. I could imagine.
Leslie's trying to get your attention. She's like, important email now, please.
All right. Sorry.
Been a couple, so.
I apologize. Hold on.
Sorry, Cap.
A lot of people. It's okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Hey, Mikey.
There he is. What's up, buddy? Motion to modify no contact order. Huh?
And hi, Michelle, honey. I'm over here on my side. You'll have to come to my channel to talk to me.
Is this a new document that dropped, Leslie? No contact order. Whose father and their stepdaughter? Has Brian been trying to contact people who were not on the no contact order prior to this request? What? So if so, why would this need to be added?
Leslie, Billy said yes.
Hold on. I'll pull up the full document then. That's all new.
Something just dropped?
I'm guessing.
Look at that. I go away and something drops.
Yeah.
Jesus mighty.
It happens. Hold on. Let's see here.
Right there. The first one. That's the only one.
No, that's not it. It must not be in here yet. Hold on.
Are you sure? Because mine shows 4 new ones when the ones dropped yesterday, and this shows 5.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this back up.
Let me go to my.
It took me down to the bottom. Let me refresh it real quick.
Where's the pot? Spots would know.
There it is. I found it. It's right here.
Don't what the F me.
It's okay. Here we go.
You're always on that shit, Miss Potts.
He's right, ain't he? Motion to modify no contact order. State of Idaho by and through. Of course, we all know that. For a modification to the no contact order previously filed herein prohibiting the defendant from having any contact with the father of one of the victims. Oh.
Bobby, I thought you went to your car.
Probably Steve.
It's gotta be. So he was reaching out to Steve? Now, wait a minute. This was modified. So, pursuant, this motion is based on the fact that the father has requested the addition of his wife and stepdaughter to the no contact order. That's all it is. Okay.
Oh, so they just wanted to get their name out there. I got it.
Right, they modified that so that they can't. They are added to it as well.
They want to be talked about. I get it now.
Absolutely. Wife, stepdaughter, no contact status. Okay. Ann Taylor in is mattered. She does not have an objection to amending it. Okay. Thank you, Leslie and Billy.
Unless the state caught Steve trying to reach out to him, who knows?
I was gonna say, is that possible too? But no, it says that he's adding Christy and the stepdaughter to it too. And
well, now we know. Well, now we know because of Steve's last interview that maybe before the state was comfortable kind of giving them an idea of what's going on, but not now, because they know that the last time, they gave the families a little bit of information ahead of time, they went out on their Facebook and told everybody about, I forget what it was, but they were like,
right.
And then boom, they granted it.
Leslie's got a good question though. Who is the stepdaughter?
Wouldn't that be
Steve doesn't have a stepdaughter.
No,
I don't
Or does he? Does Christy have another child that he's not the father of?
Probably.
I know that Samantha's his daughter and Christy would be her stepmother. Samantha's not his stepdaughter though, right? I thought Olivia was his biological daughter.
Would they be? They wouldn't count Maddie as his stepdaughter, right?
I don't think so. No.
I don't know how close. I thought somebody said that.
I don't know. That's maybe they misprinted something there. I don't know. It wouldn't be a stepdaughter though. That's a little weird. Either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the 911 call, guys. Sorry I didn't hit that earlier, SRBM. I apologize. But again, what do we think of that now?
Can we read it again?
Miss Potts said, read it again.
The 911? Oh, you guys. Yes, I will. 1 minute.
Wait, you mean the one you just read, right?
One that me and you role played with, yeah.
Oh, I thought she was talking about the last one we just read.
Yo, is that what you want me to do? Annie's read that again? Or the 911 thing?
I don't believe she's talking about the 911.
She's saying, pretty please. Yes, the new thing. Okay. The new document or the 911 call. Let me clarify. Sure.
Okay.
Last one. Okay. Hold on.
That one's long, the 911 call.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Because the thing is, if you don't have if you don't role play that, you can't understand the chaos that
Absolutely. Okay, the state of Idaho. That's why we're reading it so Annie can break it down her way, and she'll be able to explain it better. Moves this court for a modification to the no contact order previously filed, herein prohibiting the defendant from having any contact with the father of one of the victims. This motion is based on the fact that the father has requested the addition of his wife and stepdaughter to the no contact order. The state has contacted the defendant's attorney, Ann Taylor, in this matter, and she does not have an objection. Now, how do we know for a fact that this is Steve? Does Jeff have a stepdaughter? Or does Maddie's dad have a stepdaughter? Maybe it's Maddie's family.
I didn't say Maddie has a step mom.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a stepmother.
Yeah.
And her father is married again, I believe, too.
If her dad requested the addition of his wife, no.
Yeah.
The people that are set on he's guilty are going to take this and be like, he's trying to contact the family.
No,
oh my God.
This could just be that the father, this could be Maddie's dad is adding his wife, and now there's a stepdaughter, maybe, to keep them under that. I can't think of anybody else.
Because I'm sure that's what Brian's worried about doing.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I was just seeing that Jim Chapin was married previously. I think so, but this wouldn't be. He wouldn't have to add the mother and stepdaughter though.
What did Rochelle say? Maybe Steve thinks Sam, his first daughter, was going to reach out to Brian.
Oh.
Like she knows something. So he probably calls Sam his stepdaughter.
I mean, that's a possibility too, Rochelle. We all know that whole situation between them, so yes.
They did post the G family did post on their family page, and they were like upset about everything that came out.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's an interview. I think we're going to try to look at it too if we have some time. I don't know, Annie, if anybody got married recently or not. That's what I was going to ask you guys. I don't if Maddie's dad maybe got remarried, or if Jeff got remarried or anything. Thank you. And that's another good point too. Somebody just mentioned in here that noticed that the actual voice call was not released. That's a good point.
What you mean, like the audio?
Yeah, and it's probably because they're trying to protect the integrity of the victims, maybe.
Yeah, but do they ever really release that?
Yeah. Yes, I've played quite a few different 911 calls through different cases.
Yeah, listen, I'm just happy to get anything to be honest with you. I'm happy that Hitler had enough, like we had enough. Like, just stop stealing everything. You know? If it's gonna come out of trial anyway, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it will be played in the trial. That's factual information. Maddie's, that's it. Ben, thank you, Tandy. So did Ben? No, because he's married. Were they married? Yeah, it was Maddie's stepmom. Hey, Peaky, good to see you. Maybe. I don't know. Thank you, SRB.
Why are you such a psychopath? Shit, I'm not muted.
Oh, you're
Sorry,
okay.
I was talking to my cat.
I get it.
I'm like,
my dogs are like that too.
That's got to be Maddie's mom, man. It looks just like her.
What are you talking about?
Demon's got a good point.
Maddie Mogeson, that her mom that did the speaking at the vigil and all that. She looks just like Maddie.
Oh yeah, that one woman was Maddie's actual biological mother, and then I can't think of her stepmother's name. Brian brought it in here a few times and talked about her. But yeah, she's married to Ben. So that none of that. Maddie's actual biological, or no. Maddie's parents her biological parents are divorced. They did the interview with her dad that one time at the restaurant. So and I don't know that he was with anybody at that time. So maybe he's gotten married and there's a daughter involved now. Sam is Steve Gonsalves' first daughter, like from his first marriage or first relationship. I'm sorry. That was a big deal.
Hey, demon dog, I have a demon cat. You want it?
Yeah, Jackie, that was brought up already too. In the 911 call, nobody mentions any blood, let alone all the blood. Very good point.
Right?
Did you see Demon's comment?
Unconscious.
So is BK just blowing their phone up, and the stepdaughter would need to be a minor, or would they need their own order? Well, they added the step parent and the daughter to it together. I think it would be the
right,
same.
but that's what they're saying. If the stepdaughter was of legal age,
yeah, she's probably a minor then. That I see what you're saying. That makes sense. I got you. Nobody mentions Ethan either. No. Sam is becoming a problem for the G's. Her cryptic posts. I've seen that too. Yes, she does post things that don't make a lot of sense. So, that's a good point there. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't mean to. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. Karen, that was the name. Karen is Maddie's mother. Thank you, B Geek. I love your name, B Geek. Vic says that 4 out of 6 parents never went near the place. Might be 8. Tell me.
Here's my question, Dago. Say you're giving your opening statement as the attorney for the prosecution, okay? Now, hypothetically, let's say that the touch DNA, something happens and they don't allow it in, it doesn't get in, right? What's in your opening that you could prove as far as it was Brian Koberger and I can prove it with this, this, and this? What evidence are you presenting other than let's just take out the touch DNA for one moment? What evidence are you presenting? And that's the whole point of this case right there, dude.
I know that.
That is insane.
I don't know what they're going to bring out and say, okay, this is why we know this man did it right here.
So what is happening? They're just going to keep this man locked up for as many years as they want and just,
I don't know, you guys. I don't really know.
Is this Delphi? This is Richard Allen again? Is that what?
I mean, a lot of people have said that they're doing the same thing, but
But there they sealed everything like Fort Knox. So at least here we're getting to see,
yeah, she was nuts. That judge was crazy in that aspect with a lot of things. So
yeah,
at least Hitler is working both sides of the fence fairly, in my opinion. At this point, you know what I mean? And all they have is an alleged car sighting. That's what Phil says, and truly, that's truly it. I mean,
But you would think, like, with all, like, if you look at the one document that dropped that lists all the video footage, all their, where they're taking this from, that from, this from, you literally have nothing that says license plate timestamp, this camera at this intersection, like nowhere. Like, even have them, a couple blocks down the road at least on some kind of traffic cam, have them somewhere showing his license plate, showing, something. None of that is in their evidence.
I agree, guys. I agree, guys. There's 103 of you in here. I really appreciate this, guys. Please hit the like button if you come through. That just takes a second. I got 73 likes with 103 people. Please, guys, get in the algorithm, guys. I appreciate it so very much.
Willie Brian's in my chat, hollering at you.
And make sure
here he is. Hi, Brian.
Mama Bear, and hit her like button too, please. I appreciate it. Dagburn, Johnny Gobble's dead, Floozy Mother. Hello.
What?
Welcome. That's the name right there. I love it.
What'd you call me?
Not you. I was just saying what she said. Don't forget, SH has a pending lawsuit against Moscow.
And you got to remember, dude, the reason I'm just so passionate is because we've been talking about this for the past 3 years, and finally we get to see something.
Agreed. And Eddie says, the car sighting is not even part of this anymore. It's on record. Law enforcement didn't use 1112 King Road camera to identify his car. That's very true, Eddie. Thank you for pointing that out. So there again, let's go back to Willie's question, you guys. If we're presenting this to a jury, what are we going to come out the gate with saying, Brian Koberger here did this, and this is why we know he did? Excluding the sheath.
Yeah, and instead of saying we found his touch DNA along with a couple other blood samples on a sheath, what are you coming out the gate and kind of sticking in that jury's head that you're going to be able to prove? And I'm just curious.
I am too. I mean, that's what I want to know, that because I want to understand this. I want to see why they have this man in custody and why he's the one that did this. I want to know. Because like I said in the beginning, Willie, you've heard me say this 100 times. I truly kind of want him to be the one that did this after everything he's gone through and everything.
At this point, his life's wrecked anyway. But
that's what I mean.
It seems like every time they say something or every time they come out with something, it never points in the direction of Brian. It always points opposite.
And that's what I mean. And the families have gone through hell and back through this, okay? And if they're telling them they have the right person, and that's what I'm trying to say here. I want to clarify that. Everything they've been through, okay, this should be the person. They deserve that to be the case.
Yeah.
At this point. And if it's not, then okay,
let me ask you a question. If I tell you that's Brian's blood on that sheath, you're going to say 100% you think he did it, right?
Absolutely.
But we don't give two flying F's about the blood on the sheath, the blood on the handrail, we don't care about them because they have Brian in custody. Right. Now, say Brian wasn't in custody, we'd be like, it was one of the blood samples they got. But because it's Brian, we have to now fit in our minds how it's only him and it's only that touch DNA that, matters in this case. Where as a jury, if there's 4 of us up here, as a jury, how do we get together and make ourselves believe that? When there's 5 other options.
Right. Agreed.
It's not processing with me how they're going to take this to trial and what they're going to say. Right. So I'm just curious.
I've struggled with that for a long time, bud, and I know what you're talking about. Phil says, and as I've stated 100 times, they needed him to go to Pennsylvania as a fugitive to get access to familial DNA and BK's buccal swabs. Otherwise, he'd have been arrested before the CC trip. He was no threat.
Mm-hmm. And they must have known he was no threat because they didn't approach his car. They walloped up to his car. How you doing, sir?
Right. When they pulled him over twice here in Indiana, If he was a fugitive, they wouldn't have just let him go.
Yeah, apparently, supposedly, from what they're telling us, he just took out 4 people in a house like John Wick and got out of there without a trace. And this cop just walks up like Brian's dad's not going to pull out something and, try to do something to that cop. He has his arm over the, how you guys doing? Like,
right. And that's the thing is they swear up and down that those were not premeditated stops.
Well, now they can't deny. Well, now they can't deny it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what were you doing? And Phil's explanation here. I mean, come on, you guys. It makes sense, okay? What is going on with this damn case? I mean, everybody's like, oh, stop doing this and stop doing that. This is that and everything else. Guys, we've questioned this for a reason.
Yeah, this is what a jury's going to do, man.
It's not right. Something's not right, okay? And then how many times have we seen these cases happen and innocent people go to prison, or this is the death penalty, mind you. This is not just going to prison for the rest of your life. Yeah. You're going to lose your life. It's a real thing.
Now, they're going to make an example out of him.
Right. And the most important thing here, first and foremost, I want to clarify this. The victims need to get justice. That's fact. Period. End of story. No matter what else happens overall, yes, the victims and their families deserve absolute and true justice. But you cannot give somebody justice by putting an innocent man in prison or taking his life. And I'm not saying that he's innocent at this point. I'm saying they need to clearly make sure of that.
Yeah. And I want to know, and my biggest question on this whole thing, dude, is just one thing. One question I have that I would love to have answered is, what is the motive? What's the motive for Ellie to say, screw these 3 blood DNA samples. We're going with the invisible sample that we had to do this, and this with to even get some kind of hit, when we have these over here that if it was Brian's blood, it would be game over. What's the motive for them not to even give a shit about the blood DNA, especially now that we know it's on a sheath, dude?
Mm-hmm.
On the main object that they're going to try to pin this, it's not, and again, a sheath can't kill somebody. That's not a knife. We're talking about a sheath here, and it has other people's blood on it. That's not, and a male. It's a male blood. Yep. And it's not Brian's.
No. And Annie said, anyone telling us that the transfer DNA that's the size of a dust particle on a sheath is more important than the other man's blood on the sheath that doesn't belong to Brian is a propagandist.
Thank you, Miss. I'm glad. That's
a very good point there, Annie. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Don Knotts. I love your name, by the way. Thank you for coming back.
So that's my big question: is why not just do a proper, full investigation and get true justice for these families? Why are you doing all this backdoor shit to try to make it stick on this outsider who you had to all the way up digging in his trash in the middle of the night to even get an arrest, when you have all these samples over here? I can't process that, dude.
Plus, I know this is a little off topic, but I was watching. We watched a little bit. You see Brian and how many court videos we've seen, hearings, different stuff like that. I've watched Brian's face multiple times.
Thanks, Eddie.
Brian, has anybody ever noticed that Brian does not present with emotion during anything? He doesn't have reactions to anything.
No, he's always been like that. Right.
So that being said, I would imagine this is pretty heavy. Okay, this is pretty heavy. I would imagine that I'm not saying that this makes him innocent. Don't take this any other way than what I say, you guys. Mm-hmm. He seems very confident to me, is what I'm saying. The looks on his face, because there isn't anything. There's no emotion coming from him at all. And it's like almost overly confident. That why would you be that confident unless you knew something that you didn't?
He did say from the beginning that I'm eager to be exonerated, and hopped right on that airplane, like I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, let's go.
Now, I'm not saying he knows what actually happened if he didn't do this. What I'm saying is, in his mind, does that state that he truly does know he's absolutely innocent, and he's that confident that he's going to get off because of his innocence?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to point out based on the what you see on his face. That's all. Yeah. Philip says he's an outsider, and it's way too hard to pin it on a local or alumni or a Greek society. Being an outsider makes sense, Bill, because it's somebody that nobody knows.
Yeah, and somebody who they don't mind arresting because it doesn't make their university or town look bad.
Yeah, he's from outside that area, therefore it's not going to make them look bad. That's true. That's very true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So it just, again, there's a lot of this that I'm looking at, like, why? Just why?
I still want to know the actual, and I've heard when I've asked this, I said, somebody tell me then, Brian Kilber, he did this. What's the motive? And I've been told because he wanted to see if he could get away with it. I've also been told because he was jealous of a relationship between
that he didn't even know it was existed.
Right, that and this and that. And again, it still shows to me, at least in my opinion, and it's just my speculative theory, that the target was Maddie. That's how I see this, that she was the undefined target. And everything.
But think about this, like for where I'm at right now. Say I just all of a sudden want to take out 4 people that are, well, I don't know, I'm just going to guess here, 7-8 miles away from my house, directly to the northeast of where I'm sitting at right now.
I think it's 9.
But some kind of motive to do that, dude.
That's what I'm saying. The motive, guys. That's where I'm trying to. I know I'm all over the place. That's my ADHD because there's so much to talk about. But he's right. 9 miles away. I just decided I'm gonna go do this. I picked this place. I'm gonna do that. There's people there.
There could be 50 people in there.
Right. It's hard to take. It is in a death penalty state. Yeah, it's a good point, Jackie. Very good.
Exactly. Crosses over. He doesn't do this to any of the students that might have pissed him off, or somebody in the hallways, or a couple he might have seen, or a chick he might have seen in the hallway at his school. He does this at completely a random ass house where they just had a party supposedly on Friday, which means there could have been 30, 40 people inside when he walked in and could have got, especially with a knife. It's not like he has a gun where you can just hold everybody hostage. If there's 10, 20 frat boy guys in there, they're going to start throwing shit at you and tackling, you know what I mean? So you don't really put yourself, and then you go to the 3rd floor and trap yourself, according to them, you go to the 3rd floor and trap yourself up there to where if everybody downstairs heard what was going on, you now just screwed yourself because they're all going to be waiting at the bottom of the steps with maybe a knife bigger than yours.
Or a baseball bat or golf clubs or
so I don't want to hear this was planned out and he stalked them, because that's not true. There's no evidence of that.
It's been proven that he didn't stalk them. That came from the prosecution.
And that came from Bill's mouth. That's why they won't let him talk anymore.
Yeah. What good motive? And talking motive, he did it, but then the next day he went to a doctor's appointment. Then the day after that, he went and got a haircut, and then he went back to work at the school.
And then he goes and teaches his plates and follows the law.
Yeah, I mean, all of that after you just murdered 4 people.
Wow. And then you don't have a scratch on you when you're teaching your students that are criminology. This is criminology he's teaching, right? He's not teaching art class where nobody gives a shit what's going on. These people are looking out for clues, especially when something just happened at the university directly next to them.
Yeah. Oh, then don't mention you went to your doctor. You went to your doctor.
Oh, yeah.
There's no wounds or scratches or black eyes or bruises or nothing. Your doctor saw?
And then you can't tell me, he had this suit on where, nothing would have got bullshit, because according to Dylan, she saw his eyebrows, which means at least this, if you figure what, 3 inches of his face was, exposed, and you have, clawing at him, punching at him, whatever the victims were doing, nothing's on him. No black eye, no, what is he, John Wick?
Steph said, Willie, now I know who you look like. Enan Harsh.
No, don't disrespect me like that.
Right.
Don't disrespect me like that. That dude got a schnoz. I don't have a schnoz like that.
No.
No, yeah, he got a schnoz and a half.
I just, I wish his alibis were a little better. A little tighter. Kohlberger, I wish his alibis were a little tighter. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he has but he has experts to prove it.
Yeah. I mean, it's all they have to do is prove reasonable doubt.
And the prosecution is now saying that they don't want him to be able to use experts to prove his alibi. They want him to physically get on his stand and prove his alibi. How the hell does one do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's sick.
Yeah, but those alibis change, like stargazing and driving around.
But he never said that though. He never said stargazing. If you read the alibi, like and what Cy Ray is saying, when Cy Ray gets up on there again, this is the guy that teaches all these guys about this technology. So once he gets out there and says that his phone is traveling over here, here, and here, and pinging off of here, 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 then I mean, what's everybody going to say? I mean, this is the first time Cy Ray has ever taken on anything that has to do with the defense. It's always been on the side of the prosecution, which speaks volumes to me that he's putting his name out there. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Agreed.
That's all.
And Bicca Barlow, hold on here.
And Phil, I've considered that numerous times.
Yes, and Savinsky too. Savinsky, I heard, is a beast as well. So, it's not just Brian saying I'm stargazing. No, Brian's saying I went to the park and I have pictures on my phone of the stars that I take pictures of. And Ann was probably like, he likes to go stargazing in that area sometimes. So what? I take my daughter to cool camping spots and we look at stars, build campfires and stuff. I mean, again, he was only out there 5 months. And in my opinion, when I moved to Arizona from here in Pennsylvania, it was a shock to me. I mean, even 5 months of me being there, I was still filming the mountains as I'm driving and listening to music because it was different. So if, he found an area that he'd love to go to because this is so new to him, I could 100% believe that,
Molly said, as did about 5 other people, and my wife and my son, Junior's dad, all said that those letters in there mean screwed. Everybody said screwed. So I guess Molly's husband even said screwed. So
yeah, she sent him the text.
Right. And that's what my wife looked at. My son and Caden, both of them, that both said that looks like screwed to me. So I mean,
look at Scott Peterson, for example. There's no crime scene, no cause of death, no nothing.
Yep.
He just pretty much got convicted on having a girlfriend and lying to the girlfriend. I mean, if you really look outside the box, and everything else is circumstantial, and then the media just threw him under a bus. But did he do it? Probably. But as a juror and a death penalty, I don't know if I could convict the guy if I sat in there. Everything that I heard for years on Scott Peterson, but you know what I mean? There's no crime scene. There's no.
That's
nothing.
the thing. If we're talking beyond a reasonable doubt, and it could be him and only him, right? In this Idaho case, then this prosecution has to fight tooth and nail to get all this DNA not like excluded from even being mentioned in a trial. Because if I'm a juror and you just mentioned one blood DNA sample on the railing or the sheath or on a glove that you found and it's not his, and then I connect that with there's none of Brian's, at least of one of the victims we know, there's no Brian's DNA under any of the whose fingernails was it? Was it Maddie's that they?
Maddie's.
Maddie's. Under none of the victim's fingernails is Brian Koberger's DNA. I would have big problems with that just on one profile. So they're going to fight to get all this excluded, and they're going to fight to have him have to get up on the stand and explain his alibi and not have any experts. That's the only way they're going to win this, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
That's right, Ray. There was a meteor shower that night.
There was. That's a good point too. Ray Knightley just said meteor showers that night. I'd go look at it.
Yeah,
it just sounds so unconstitutional to me. I'm sorry.
Right. And Phil just said if he's acquitted, well, the jury got it wrong. It's a hung jury. They go again. Either way, no one else will ever be held accountable. That's the biggest thing that bothers me.
Yep.
Okay. But let me ask the question. Why?
Because they're not going to put all this.
If you have 3 samples right now that we know about, they have 3 samples on file, whatever. How do they not have other people that they could look into?
Well, and that's what. Where's Lisa tonight? She's not in here, is she, Mom?
I haven't seen her. Unless
they don't want to, and that could be a big possibility.
Well, part of this, I think, some of this is that they don't want to do certain things. That's my opinion, of course.
Hey, Justice Jane.
Especially when, what do you do when you want to get rid of something and kind of have nobody knows it exists anymore. You bury it. So they didn't knock this house down and preserve all the pieces and try to like restructure it together. No, they literally demolished it and buried it like a dog's shit. That's crazy to me, man. Their whole crime scene, they buried it. And now they have some Minecraft 3D model they're going to try to present to a jury of.
Yeah, did you see the actual physical model, Willie, that they built for this?
It's disgusting.
It's ridiculous. I agree. Annie says his phone data is exculpatory. The DNA is exculpatory. The text between all the victims and his survivors are exculpatory. There's a lot of exculpatory evidence. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and okay, Cap, no problem, brother. Again, guys, I want somebody to pull and show me a real motive why Brian Christopher Koberger went in and killed 4 people. I want to know an actual motive, because nobody, including the prosecution, has ever really presented a real motive for this. Okay, that truly makes any sense, to be honest with you.
And you got to remember the DNA on the brass as well.
And that's
it's
another
visible. You know, if people say, "Oh, well, they were lazy doing this investigation," then why they work so hard on this invisible DNA instead of going on by the DNA that they could physically see, and that's protein, blood protein, whatever the hell they want to word it. But
we have DNA. We have DNA the size of a speck of dust inside the back of a snap on a button that's brass that doesn't withhold that doesn't.
But the naked eye can't see it. Is my point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So why are you not testing the ones that you can physically see first before you're testing something that you have to do all this shit with and do this and do that and squeak this and tweak that and all of a sudden,
it's because they won't come back on for the person that you want them to.
Right?
Is that why? I'm asking. I'm not.
Well, listen. They asked Payne this, and Payne's excuse was, "Well, we didn't look into any of them because we already had Brian Koberger's name." What?
Who? And that's thank you. Explain to me what law enforcement official is going to do that ever,
unless they have a motive. And that's what I want to know. Why? Why did they work so hard on that invisible DNA, but they couldn't just, work a quarter as hard on the blood and have 3 males that they could possibly put together and figure out, hey, maybe more than one person did this. Now they want us to believe Brian did this alone, tracked no blood out, tracked no blood in his car, had no motive, didn't even know these people.
Had no injuries at all.
No injuries.
Bruise, scratch.
No proof of his car.
Yeah.
Like his phone's not even around the area, according to 2 experts. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Well, Michelle said, "Me too." In my opinion, they knew who did it, just scared to tell. BK locked up. Still was afraid for her life, even though she moved. Bethany, okay, got you.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's very plausible, Michelle. It makes some sense too.
I mean, here's my question: what's her? Remember, the state fought so hard to not have Bethany's exculpatory evidence and not allow the defense to talk to her. What is it that she has that's so exculpatory? Let's
go back to the text messages then, Willie. With that,
but that's the thing. But these texts are from the state, so I'm trying to think of what is the meat that we could possibly have. Did she take a picture?
Well, remember, let's talk about something else. Way back up, when we were told at some point that Bethany herself has exculpatory evidence that can, show Brian's innocence of this. Where'd that go? That disappeared, remember? And so now we get to this point where like you just brought up that she took off to another state, didn't want to come back and testify. Now we see these text messages about how freaked out they were, this, that, everything else. Put those all together. What does that give you? That sure as hell makes me wonder about something. What does Bethany actually know? What was redacted that the state took out of that? The meat and potatoes of those text messages that was taken out, that it will really tell the story.
Well, I think these are the texts. I think what we're seeing in these documents, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but these texts we're seeing in the documents are texts that the state does not want in as evidence. Like, they don't want the jury to know that it was said Xana was in all black and she was wearing a face mask. No?
Hey, Aurora. I think that's what it stated. Yeah, but there's still more though that's missing.
I know. I get that. I'm just saying, is this the exculpatory evidence? Because this is what the state doesn't want. Like, this is what they want.
They don't want
to make it to trial.
Right. Yeah. They wanted. I know what you're trying to say, and I can't.
Isn't that what the whole purpose of filing these documents are?
I think so. Hold on. Let me. It's giving me a date on a specific. Hold on, if I can find the damn thing.
It's like they're not just coming out and telling us, "Oh, hey, here's what they text each other." No, there's a motive behind this filing.
322 of 23. Eddie said. Hold on. Let me get to that one. I love that they broke this down. Thank you. God, that was so. Mama Bear said that, and I swear to God, they did it.
That was kind of funny.
That's crazy. 322 is not in here, Eddie.
Hey, Mocha. Hey, Aurora. Aurora, there definitely are texts that are missing.
Mocha.
No, he says that's the 322 of 23 affidavit in support of motion for out of state service serving a subpoena document 322 of 23. And it's not here, Eddie.
Because somebody said they don't want any of the data in there. They want it called hearsay. See, that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want the jury to know the truth. That's sick.
And then here, okay. Annie says 210. Dylan Mortensen texts EG.
Weird.
226 to 252. K texting JD. That's Jack Decor. K is Kaylee. 422 to 424. DM and Bethany think they're seeing Xana in all black and a ski mask. Dylan has also said Kaylee yelling someone's here and running up and down the stairs. That was stated too, and they've taken that back, saying that doesn't make sense. Hey, Michigan.
So we have Bethany not sleeping, Dylan not sleeping, Kaylee not sleeping, Xana's obviously not sleeping.
And I said a long time ago, the only person I think was truly asleep was Maddie.
Or maybe Ethan was passed out.
And he could have been, but I don't think he was. I think that
but he's your biggest I mean 6'4". He's gonna put up a fight. You know what I mean? So if he was taken out pretty easily and he didn't do any damage to the other person, I find that like he was passed out. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
He could have been. 210. Dylan texts EG. Who's EG? Ethan.
Emily.
That's a last name's different though. EG.
Oh, maybe it's Emily. Yeah.
His last name.
Oh no, Eric Gower. That's the rideshare driver. She's texting at 2 after she drops off. What's their names? Like Dylan knows this guy that well that she's like, "Hey, are you still out driving? Why? Why is she texting that dude at 2 something in the morning?"
Was she texting to see if she had dropped them off or picked them up yet?
I mean, why does she? I mean, I don't know. I thought she was nestled sleeping in her bed.
That's interesting. Miss Potts. I never thought of that.
Eric Grower, sorry, not Gower.
That's at 2:10 a.m.
Yeah. So I'm not believing that she fell asleep for 2 hours, because if you're drunk and messed up and you fall asleep, you're not just waking back up. You're out. So she didn't take a 2-hour nap, wake back up, and then take a 6-hour nap and wake back up.
No. I don't think
she was on acid. Nobody sleeps on acid or shrooms. We've all been there. You can close your eyes all you want. You ain't going to sleep.
Yeah, and I definitely don't think they slept in that 8-hour period of time either. I'm sorry to say that, but I just don't.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, the text messages tell me that they definitely know and knew way more than that PCA told us. Okay. Absolutely. We could read through the PCA, which I have it pretty much memorized at this point. And see that most of it doesn't even, it's not real. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem, you guys. Something's not right. Something's not right. Yeah. Mocha said Dylan called everyone and their mother instead of 911. Exactly.
Right. And then woke up and called him again.
Mm-hmm. And then called her father and said, "We don't know, but..."
Was she trying to summon her dad over to the house? Where's her dad live?
I Oh yeah.
So Mark,
he doesn't live that far. I don't believe we went through that because her boyfriend and oh no. What the hell is her boyfriend's name? Mama Bear. They live in 6 hours away. I think it is Boise. That's right, Miss Potts. Boise.
Okay, so
her dad was like a kind of a big dude that was kind of a roughneck. You know what I'm saying? Like
so let me ask you this, right? Do you think she had already seen the carnage before she called her dad?
I think that's
she didn't
why.
just call her dad because the other roommates in the house weren't answering the phone. Could we agree on that?
No, I agreed. I think that's why she called her dad, Willie, because she saw.
Okay.
That's my opinion, guys. I'm not saying that's a fact. That's just how I think.
I'm just, you know.
That's what this
how
all
many.
is.
And what time was that at? That was
11:50 or 51.
She called her dad?
Right before she called law enforcement. And that's probably what he.
Yeah. So her dad was probably like, no, like call 911 now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I would tell my kid.
It was 11:50 or 51, you guys. I can't remember exact times, but it's there.
Wade asked, where are the texts from 2:10 to 4:22?
They have those redacted.
Oh yeah.
And for good reason, I'm sure. You know, especially with the state putting them out. What I would love to see is, since if Hitler's allowing this, the rest of that stuff to be shown at this point. I mean, at this point, you guys, what's the point? Like, we pretty much have a picture of everything now.
Right.
You know, truly. I mean, Willie, you know, Mama Bear, I think we have a picture of what the scene was like at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
And it's
I don't think they will come out with the until court
trial
with the
trial,
911.
and that's coming. We're getting closer, you guys. I've been counting down. I promise you, because I want to know it all.
So she texted her dad. She didn't call her dad.
Yeah. It was a text. I'm sorry. The only person she actually physically called was that Emily girl. Is what it said was a phone call.
So what the hell is she texting her dad?
You can't FOIA it until, because it's still an ongoing investigation per se, until the trial's over. I think after the trial, then we can FOIA it, hopefully everything. And I'm going to pull all of this. I want to see every. I'm sure it'll look like the Kennedy paperwork, but you know, I want to see everything that went on in this whole thing, and I'm gonna keep it because I want to read through it all. I think that was Quinn who owned the big truck, Wade. I'm pretty sure that Dylan was standing in a picture in front of a big truck. I think that's Quinn's, her boyfriend. I'm looking, Phil. I'm sorry. Let me catch up, you guys. There's a lot more of you in here, so I'm just trying to catch up.
Yeah, and they're all on your side, so I'm like, well, except for Brian and Peggy.
You guys should be visiting Mama Bear as well.
It's okay.
I mean, we're all together, but still.
Yeah.
Where I'm looking for your.
I'm just happy to see like 90% of people can see through the bullshit here. I like that.
Right.
You said the same thing. Isn't the stepmother a lawyer? Yes. Yeah.
Like something like that.
Dylan's stepmother is an attorney. That's true. Hey, Julianne. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Miss Annie, you want to come see me? I will drop my chat.
I have the link. I had the link. Yeah. Guys, pop on over to Mama Bear's side. Click this link. It only takes a second. Hit the like button over there. Share it out. Subscribe if you haven't, please. And make sure you hit that notification bell. We definitely. North Carolina Mountain Man, what's happening, brother? Good to see you tonight.
Hiya, Leslie. Billy. Glad you came back.
There's the link, guys. Yeah, but Clint.
I know, Eddie.
He hadn't ever been there, didn't he? Yeah, but didn't we hear early on SRB that he was there in that morning? Now, or is that another rumor? Because if it's true, how did you get there in a 6-hour period of time? Unless you were told about it. I don't know the exact time, but I was told it was a 6-hour drive from there to Moscow. And listen, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that the FBI, the Idaho State Police, Moscow, and every other law enforcement made built this big, huge frame job. Okay, I don't believe that, but I definitely don't believe what they're showing us. Something is not right. End of story. There's nothing. There's no way that this is cut and dry. The way that they're trying to play it out there, and people aren't stupid. Okay, that's the problem. We do this every day. We look at these things every day. We've learned a lot of things by doing the cases and covering the cases, and know what certain things mean, what certain things are. It's not that cut and dry. Nobody's that stupid. Come on now. There's something not right in here. That's all there is.
Well, I mean, to be honest, dude, replace Dylan and Bethany with me and you in that house. And me and you were texting each other all night and saying this, saying that, and unaccounted for these hours. Dude, we're going to jail.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to jail, bro.
100%.
Nobody's going to question it either. But in this case, I have to hear, oh, they're just kids. They're stop victim blaming. I'm done here.
If this would have been Jack Decor and Hunter Johnson in that house, when the police showed up, they would have been both in cuffs and taken to jail.
And they were texting each other all night and shit like that, doing this, doing that. No, hell no.
Yeah, that is why that didn't happen, because it was two young girls, okay, and they were traumatized, I guess you say, per se, at that point, so on and so forth. That's absolute fact. I agree.
Yeah, because we were told, and what everybody thought at one point is she was enough, and people were even like writing paragraphs on how they went through it, being in a frozen shock for 8 hours, and people explaining that what frozen shock. She was on it right away. She was ready to run across the room and this and that, and texting and calling everybody. She didn't know frozen shock.
And then again, now seeing those text messages, the timeline has now changed again.
Yeah.
Based on what the PCA's told us, Brian Koberger was on his way heading out of town at 4:20. I'll give him 4:20 that morning. Well, they're still texting over here at 4:25, 4:30.
Freaking out.
Run downstairs. Hurry up. Get down here with me. And run. Why are you running? If there's nothing to be afraid of, what are you running for?
And why are you even thinking about running if you just saw somebody standing outside of your room that you're terrified of and that you were frozen in shock of and this, that, and the third? It's all in the PCA, right? It's all there in the PCA. She never mentioned this person once to Bethany. They're talking about Xana. She's not saying, I just saw some guy outside my room. I'm stuck up here. Call 911 for me. No. She's like, Bethany's like, zoom across the whole house and come down here.
And why again, Willie? Go back to that again. Why again are we now talking about? Why are we talking about Xana being dressed in black? All in black. Why?
Exactly. Everybody's like, oh, well, maybe that's what she was wearing that night. But why is it a big deal at that moment of fear?
Oh my God. Are you serious? Actually,
Xana's in all black, and she has a ski mask on.
Somebody does. What's that mean? What are you trying to say there?
You know?
Guys, I'm not. I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense. This is nothing like what we were told. Okay. So yeah, I have questions. I've always had questions, and Mark said I'm back on the case. I'd never been off the case. There just wasn't nothing to talk about. They didn't give us anything, Mark. So yeah, I've been all over this from day one, but I want answers, and we'll get them at the trial. I truly hope that we're going to get the right answers. But at this point, guys, there's questions. There's a lot of questions.
We can only go by what they give us.
Yeah, and I think this just caused more questions than we had before.
This is way more questions.
But they released like 20 documents. So again, if you just put it all together like a puzzle, you could see what's going on here. At least I could,
Yeah, it builds a picture for you to look at.
It's not good.
No, there's definitely something off. SRB said, because I think DM told BF that she saw someone all in black, and that's why it's redacted. Why it's redacted is beyond me. Thank you. Agreed.
Who drew eyes all over their bedroom wall?
Dylan had a cork board in her room that had pictures of like eyebrows and like eyes, like this all over this cork board. Like, what the hell does that even mean?
Oh my God!
Was she in like an art class or something?
It could be, or she has some kind of a fixation.
That's the only thing that comes to my mind is.
And magically, that's what she reports to Ellie this morning. That's crazy.
Yeah.
One a single eyebrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and
A
SRB
hell of
brought
a
that up.
unibrow.
SRB brought that up the other day. She's like, not, and you know how SRB is. She's like, I'm not saying that means this, but that is weird. And why? Why do you have that? You know what I mean? And there was, be real, and that's a lot of people said that. There was no, and I mean zero mention of any blood.
From who?
Anybody within the 911 call or within those text messages. There's no mention
or a weapon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And yeah, SRB, they're leading us to draw even more conclusions. That's a very true fact. Grab that comment. I can't rewrite the whole thing. Where's it at? Is it up here? Phil, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up. I apologize. Hold on. I was looking and I didn't see one.
And you can't tell me the person walked out without having the weapon in their hand, because guess what? They didn't have the sheath on them, did they?
Simply Solo said possibly DM drove everyone in the house nuts with her dreams, so BF reminded her it was probably Xana she's seen. I doubt it, though.
Who said that?
Simply Solo.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I was looking for it earlier, Phil, and I didn't see it. But this chat thing goes away after a certain period of time. So,
and again, it brings me back to my original question: what if Bethany's seeing Xana at that point in time at 4 whatever it is? Where is Bethany?
Well, based on the text messages, we're to believe that she's in her room.
So she's in her room, and all of a sudden she states what she knows Xana's dressed in at that moment in time. Did she see her outside?
I don't know. Is this it right here, Phil? I hope this is it, because that's the only one I can find. Another theory for consideration is they are going so hard at Brian because for them, like Richard Allen, they don't care if he's convicted so much as assuring no other persons are implicated or charged. I hope that was it. That's the only one I could find, Phil. It won't let me go back any further than that. Is that right? Expert eyewitnesses, Ray says. Nope. Damn it, Phil.
Yeah, if she was so good at, drawing eyebrows, why wasn't there an eyebrow sketch put out to the public?
Right.
That is a good point, too.
You know?
I'm sorry, Phil. It took it off. I can't get back that far. I'm so sorry.
There's clearly an A on it, Mark.
Okay. All right. Just type it slowly, Phil. You don't have to type it all. Box by box. I'll put it up. Go ahead.
Hello, Fettuccine. Thank you for joining us.
That's another one. Yeah, Wade's right. She said she saw a fireman. That was a whole new piece of information I had never heard of.
Fireman, vacuum carrying fireman.
With a vacuum and one leg, one eyebrow.
How about that?
With what? A reflective fireman's vest on? Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
None of this makes sense, dude.
Nope.
A jury's head's going to spin right off. I feel bad for the ones that are going to get picked for this. God.
That is true. Yes.
If they're not paid for, which let's just hope it's an unbiased jury.
Fettuccine.
Huh?
Fettuccine. I love the name.
Fettuccine.
The new information says nothing about the two girls or friends seeing Ethan. Why?
I think he was passed out.
Don't know. I don't know.
My guess is they were passed out. Like they weren't scared of Ethan. Doesn't seem like, right?
Right. Here's what they need to do. Pass and object to the... Wait a minute. Okay, one more time. Here's what they need to do. Pass and object to the jurors and have them each study it well.
Pass and object to the juror.
Did the fireman tell her since smoke rises, then she should go to the basement BS room? Simply.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. In that case, if she's saying she saw a fireman, why aren't you texting Bethany? Hey, is there a fire in the house?
Can you send that to me, Mr. Girl?
I was going to say, Mr. Girl has a screenshot.
I want to see that. You can send to my email if you have the ability. I would love to see that. She said most of the drawings are females, or the pics are females. I have a screenshot. I'd love to see that, truly. I'm following along, Phil. Keep on going. Yeah, she was 3 feet away from him, but couldn't understand why he didn't come towards her. I don't think any of us can understand if that's true. That's very
This
good.
person didn't exist.
Right.
She didn't say nothing to the person she was literally texting as she was terrified about this man. He doesn't exist. She literally describes what they're talking about Xana wearing to law enforcement the next day. Clad in black, wearing a mask. They said Xana was wearing that. And all of a sudden, Dylan's telling law enforcement, I saw a guy wearing that. She lied. To me, that's withholding evidence.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying, let's just take gender and age out of it for a second. Somebody didn't report to law enforcement what they told somebody else that they were in the house with that they saw. Right or wrong?
Right. Right.
I mean, it is what it is.
Fettuccine said, I'm so happy I found a place that allows an opinion of confusion and doubts about guilt. You're absolutely.
Yep.
That you're welcome to your own opinion here. I know I guess there's very few places like that. So welcome, Fettuccine. It's wonderful to have you.
Demon said maybe it was a male stripper wearing a fireman's outfit. Leaving the party.
Yeah, don't worry about any. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, Fettuccine. Don't worry about that. I'll take all the flack for that because I don't mind saying shit.
You've all been implicated too. Your transfer DNA is now on the sheath and each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Remember that frat picture that they were gotta go. Oh, that's fine. Take your time, Phil. No worries. Remember the frat picture that they were in different Yes, they were wearing different costumes. I do remember that, Rowena. And that too, Fettuccine. We only expect respect in comments. All opinions are welcome. Just respect each other. That's it. Period.
Amen.
Remember when we talked on the phone, the group of people I said to look into? Yes, I do. Not me, you. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. I'm trying to keep up.
Supposed to go in order, she said.
I did. I went. Did I miss one?
I don't know.
I read the first one. Here's what they need to do. That's the first one I saw, Phil. Okay, follow along. There was that one. Then I got, here's what they need to do. Pass and object to the jurors and have them each study it well. Unless I missed one. I don't think I did, though. Moving down. And it says you've all been implicated, too. Your transfer DNA is now in the sheath in each other. See? I'm going in order. It's not me.
Miss Girls emailed you that pic.
Okay, thank you, dear. I appreciate that very much. Give me a second, guys.
Do we know, does Dylan have any issues with females? In Stitches was asking.
I never heard of anything like that.
I didn't either. She said eyes of females and eyebrows on wall. Issues to say the least.
Right. That's all I've heard of. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Thank you, Miss Girl. If you guys can see that, hold on. Yeah, that's a whole lot of. Yeah, look, it's all eyes. That's true.
And one of them at least has an iPhone, and I'm curious to know if any of them have the Apple Health or whatever, and how many flights of steps they went up and down during this whole time period. I want to see that too.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about those.
Right. Thank you very much, Miss Girl. Yeah, there's all those pictures, and then there's looks like she took the picture of her eye and then those. So yeah. Interesting. Thank you. Bloody face. Is that what that is? Simply? I think it's just different colors on the face, like makeup colors, maybe. For what is that, foundation, Mama Bears? That's called, like you put down first and all that, maybe, or maybe.
I think she's talking about one of the drawings kind of looked like it, but if you're, yeah. I mean, if she's taken like an art class and she's trying to learn,
right, this one here at that one,
or something,
that's
they
what I
come
was
out
thinking.
funky until you figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. Some kind of. Okay, hold on. Back up. We're back to Phil again.
Uh-oh.
Phil says, "Give the jury the knife sheath. I have them each inspect it, then pass it to Austin and tell them their transfer DNA is now on the sheath too, and each other. Brian was never there."
Amen.
There you go.
Okay, but okay, let's go. I know where you're going, Phil. Let's go with that. Where did the sheath go to that got Brian on it? Where did it come from, and where did it get to that got his DNA on it, and then got back to this place? That's what I want to know.
Well, yeah, but it's about touching something that somebody else touched. Is the point?
Mm-hmm.
So,
right, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is how? What was?
I think they all shared. What's Winco? They all shared somewhere that they went or whatever. So, I mean, if they all shared the same bank or the same whatever,
Well,
somebody that
Phil
touched,
said a bathroom towel, kitchen towel.
a gym.
Borrow up somebody's phone. Hey, can I borrow your phone? Make a call real quick or send a text.
And sometimes it can transfer without even. It's like just if like skin cells, like in the air, get onto something.
It's a grocery store, Leslie said.
Oh, okay. So it's a grocery store. So yeah, so you touch the same handle. I don't know. It could happen pretty easily. Help a lot easier in blood.
Tomboy said Moscow knew that they couldn't retest it. Shrubbery, it doesn't judge. I like shrubbery, it doesn't judge. Well, we don't either, so don't worry about it, Fettuccine. I just found and put about new protection order is for. Yeah, that's what I found that and saw that, Leslie. Hold on a minute here. 1 second. Let me get back in here.
They each picked up the same, I don't know, cooking wine and put it down, and then I don't know, who knows where that sheet came from? It could have been somebody's in the houses that somebody used. And
okay, so somebody put in here in the comments that this was 39 minutes ago. That new protection order we read was Jeff Kernodle. So did he maybe get married recently and has a new stepdaughter? That could make sense.
Maybe. Leslie and Billy said, Dago, no.
No. Okay. I just pulled up your new email, Leslie. I thought that's what that meant. Okay, let me go back.
Hey, Ed, I know a bunch of girls that have knives for protection. And they got tasers, pepper spray. Chicks be ready today. It's good.
Michelle said it's for the first when anyone could have shook hands with BK, then carried his DNA, which transferred to the sheath, but BK didn't plant the sheath. If him, he'd know to take it. Walking down the steps, as DM said, you think murder would run. Yeah. That's, yeah. Sarge said that 3 years ago.
Right.
Oh. Leslie says, Dago, it's when Brian first went to court, remember, with the lady judge. Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. That was a long time ago. I do remember that. Oh, I love your name. Of course, it's Fettuccine. Come on now. Forget about it.
Well, listen, I got to hop down because I'm making tacos for the kiddo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it to a close, but I think we're gonna do this again very soon because there's so much more to talk about. I think, in my opinion, let me do this. Let me ask this real quick. Do you guys want me to do another show like this soon, like really soon? If you do, put a 1. If you don't, put a 2. If you don't give a shit, put a 3. And of course, Willie and Cap and anybody else. I was surprised Sarge didn't show up. I let him know, but When she put Brian in jail, she said there were no contact orders. SI, they were just updated since the trial. Oh, okay. I understand. Thank you. All right, so let's see. I got 1, 2, 3 B geeks that I don't care. Thanks for having me. Always, Rochelle. Please come back. All of you guys. Great live. Yes, please do know that. It's wonderful to see some of the old faces in here. Please come back, you guys. I miss you guys.
Yeah, there's a good time.
I got a lot of ones.
Good conversation.
I guess we'll do Corey and Lisa Wilson. I guess we'll do this again soon.
That's what we're doing, huh?
Yeah. Sounds good to me. What about you, Mama Bear?
I can do it.
All right, then. So we're going to do it. Like maybe a few of these we'll be doing. Candy's going to be around. She's on Spring Break. Tomboy said a whole bunch of ones for everybody else. So, yes.
All right, well, I'm going to hop down.
All right, brother. I appreciate you as always. Hope you have a great night. And
hope you guys have a good night. See you.
Willie.
All
right. See you, Chet. Have a good night.
Good to see you, D, back in the house again. I'm always here. All right, then I guess we're going to be doing some more of these shows, you guys.
Oh, wow. D came back.
Yes, I know. It's wonderful to see all these people.
I know.
Vix is in the house. Corey, Turdia, of course, Michelle Apple, Rochelle, I appreciate you. Fettuccine, we got a new fettuccine. Gotta love it. We got a new one in the house. Ray Knightley, of course. Elizabeth Wagner, Leslie and Billy, always wonderful. Willie, of course. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Even the traffic stop, but the towel would be ideal. Reasonable doubt. Every juror has DNA on sheath, each other, just like Brian. I get what you're saying. It does make sense. Definitely makes sense.
Took her the whole 4 hours of the show to tell us that.
Oh, I get it completely. Simply Solo, Yin's all there, she said. I've been waiting for her to say Yin's all night. I love it. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate
Hi,
that.
Missy Moo.
Missy Moo. Haven't seen Missy in a while. She's here. Bonnie Bailey.
And I'm just teasing Phil. I love ya.
Hi, Mama Bear.
Of course we love Phil.
Hi, Caden.
How's everybody tonight, Dad?
Good, Caden.
Good.
That's good. Got to keep a positive mindset.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, all right, guys. Yes, I'm just checking. Wow, so many old faces. I love it. Thank you guys for joining us. And again, if anybody has not done it, please, if you would, it only takes a second. You can even do it on your way out. Jump over to Mama Bear's side of things just to hit the like button, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Mama Bear's channel, please do it. And hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss nothing. We're going to be doing a lot more with Mama Bear's channel. Hell, we might do one of these shows over there if she's okay with it, of course.
Yeah, we can do that.
Channel, but I would think it'd be great, and we could dual stream it the same way, but we'll do it live from Mama Bear's side first. Okay, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And there's a link right there. Oop, what did I just do?
I don't know. What did you do?
I don't know what I did, but hold on a minute. Here we go. There's the link right there. Wait.
I'm sorry. It's okay, hon.
I sit there. Back to your best tonight. Well, thank you, Mark and Betty. I appreciate that. I try to give you guys the best I can all the time, but there's the link. Please, if you guys will, jump over. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Madari. Welcome back, Cap. Yeah, click the link. Hop on over to Mama Bear's side of things real quick. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Notification bell. Share it out, please, and thank you. I appreciate you guys. We're all so amazing in here tonight. I love everybody's input. There's definitely questions, guys, and we can probably do 5 or 10 more shows and not get these questions answered. And we're going to do a few more. One made not Eddie. Great to have you here, brother, as always.
Yes.
Thank you, Phil, for that. All right, guys. So I think that's going to do it. So look for it, guys. We're going to be back here very soon doing this same thing, or maybe a little bit different variations of different things we can look at with this. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Cap, it was great to have you here again. I'm sorry that your phone died. I apologize, brother. And Mama Bear, thank you so much for joining me. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning show. Tomorrow's Saturday, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be joining us tomorrow, Mama Bear?
I'm not sure what we have going on tomorrow, so I'll have to let you know.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, we will be here. Everybody, please have a wonderful night. If you're out and about, please be safe. Please be safe. Please be safe. I can't stress it.
Lisa, it's crime time with Mama Bear.
Oh, did I not? It's up on the screen there if you can't see it, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me tonight.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Anytime.
It's only my second time on the StreamYard, so I'm getting used to it. I gotta figure out my devices correctly here, but I'll get it going.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We've been doing it, almost 3 years now, and we still screwed up. So no worries, hon.
Oh, and one more.
A great breakdown, great conversation. Great content, and you guys did a great job breaking down the 911 call and stuff. So it was very good. So
I appreciate that. And plus, guys, don't forget, tomorrow is thanks to Mama Bear for bringing this back. Tomorrow is Creepy, Unexplained, and Scary Saturday Nights.
Awesome.
Tomorrow night, guys, we're going to be talking about skinwalkers. So if anybody's interested in that kind of stuff, join us for that. And we will. Yes, there's Mama Bear's link. Thank you, SRB. Thank you to the Blue Crew for everything you guys do. Wonderful, wonderful to see you guys all tonight. Thank you guys so much. Much love to all of you. If anybody donated, by the way, thank you very much for that as well. We never expect it, but God bless anybody that did. Appreciate you so very much. Other than that, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing. You guys are the beautiful people. Mama Bear.
If I don't see you guys tomorrow, I'll see you soon.
Captain Jenks.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, folks. Much love. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data, facts sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless, he won't stay quiet. Diego's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking cases, open hearts filled with fear. His channel's a beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The clicks and the likes, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Diego's a warrior through the trials he waves. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Diego's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, a streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Diego's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings.